Chapter 26. After killing 3 people in a row, Xia Ping felt the blood in his body boiling. He looked at the death of these 3 people without the slightest pity. He was in a life and death crisis just now. If they didn't die, then he would die. How could he have held back? This is a laser gun. Xia Ping turned over the 3 bodies and immediately found a 15-centimeter-long silver laser gun and 2 titanium alloy knives. They were extremely sharp and were definitely murder weapons. Fortunately, he had killed these 3 people in time. Otherwise, if they took out their laser guns, he would be dead. He would not underestimate the ferocity of these underworld people. However, they actually mobilized the entire Black Bear Company to find me, issued an order to kill, and even surrounded the area of 100 miles, mobilized a large number of people. What did that guy do to actually cause the Black Bear Company to be so enraged? Xia Ping didn't expect that he would kill that person and seize the package. The situation was more serious than he had imagined. With a snap, he immediately opened the package. Immediately, there was a medicine filled with a golden liquid, emitting a dazzling light. In addition, there was a secret book, the cover of which seemed to be written, Heaven and Earth Audiovisual Technique. No way, this is a golden medicine, and there are a total of 20. Seeing these medicine of his dreams, not only did Xia Ping not rejoice, but the corner of his mouth twitched because he could think of the seriousness of this matter. This was a golden medicine worth 10 million federal coins. Could it be that these golden medicines were stolen from the Black Bear Company by the mysterious middle-aged man just now? But even so, the people of the Black Bear Company could not have gone crazy and mobilized countless members to block the area within 100 miles. After all, although the loss of 10 million federal coins was great, it was not a serious injury. This secret book seems to be very extraordinary. He stared at the secret book and flipped through it. It described a special martial art that used a unique breathing technique to let people reach a meditative state, break the Baihui acupoint, and produce spiritual power. Once this spiritual power was released, one could easily perceive the wind and grass within a radius of several miles. Even if an ant was crawling on the ground, one could hear it clearly. How is this possible? This secret technique can actually break through the Baihui acupoint in advance and produce mysterious mental energy? Xia Ping's body trembled and his breathing quickened. He immediately knew how precious this secret technique was. One must know that in the 9 heavens of martial disciple, one was stronger than the other, but there was no way to produce spiritual power. Only by breaking through the 9 heavens of martial disciple and advancing to the martial warrior realm could this mysterious power be produced. But now, this secret technique could actually be used in the martial disciple realm. One could imagine how precious this secret technique was. This was probably the most important reason why the Black Bear Corporation had gone crazy. No wonder that group of underworld figures went crazy and sealed off 100 miles. Just this secret manual alone is worth at least hundreds of millions of federal coins, and even if you have money, you might not be able to buy it. This is a true secret. Xia Ping's eyes flickered with excitement. However, it seemed that not everyone could cultivate this secret technique. It was stated below that only those with mental strength that far surpassed ordinary people were qualified to cultivate it. Otherwise, even if ordinary people obtained it, it would be useless. Powerful mental strength? My mental strength should be stronger than an ordinary person's, so I should be able to cultivate this secret technique. Xia Ping remembered that he had 2 souls fused, and quantitative changes led to qualitative changes. In terms of mental strength alone, he was definitely talented. Pa pa pa. Suddenly, there was a burst of rapid footsteps outside. It seemed that someone was coming from afar. Oh no, I forgot that this is the territory of the Black Bear Corporation. They have countless members and their eyes are everywhere. I must hide in a safe place. If it is really unavoidable, then I will kill without mercy. Xia Ping's figure flashed, his eyes revealing a murderous intent, and soon left the abandoned building. A middle-aged man dressed in black stood on top of a building that was more than 100 stories tall. The wind howled, causing his clothes to flutter, but he remained unmoving like a rock. Nothing could shake him. He was a director of the Black Bear Corporation, named Zheng Cheng. Originally, through a secret channel, their company spent hundreds of millions of federal dollars, many people were killed and injured, and they suffered heavy losses. Finally, they obtained a secret technique from a certain Yanhuang star relic. This secret technique was the Heaven and Earth Audiovisual Technique. However, unexpectedly, at the critical moment, a strong martial artist in their company suddenly betrayed them and stole 20 bottles of golden potions and the secret technique from the company, trying to sneak away. As a result, Zheng Cheng found out and immediately gathered countless masters in the company to besiege the traitor. Even if the traitor was extraordinary, Zheng Cheng was stronger, reaching the realm of the ninth heaven of martial artist, and he had a large number of helpers. In the end, many people were killed and injured. Later, they still seriously injured the traitor and fell from the sky. Although the price was very heavy, Zheng Cheng did not regret it at all. He thought it was all worth it because this, Heaven and Earth Audiovisual Technique, was too precious. Its value far exceeded 100 million federal dollars. What did it mean to be able to cultivate mental strength in the martial artist realm? It meant that one could break through the bottleneck of the martial artist realm in advance and possess the power of the martial artist realm in advance. This was a huge advantage. Once this, Heaven and Earth Audiovisual Technique, was successfully cultivated, it meant that there was no bottleneck between the martial artist realm and the martial artist realm. After reaching the ninth heaven of martial artist, one could naturally enter the martial artist realm. It was completely conceivable that if their Black Bear Corporation could obtain this secret technique, there would be a steady stream of powerful martial artists. In the future, even if they dominated the entire Black Moon City, it was not impossible. Even Zheng Cheng could use this secret technique to break through the bottleneck of many years and advance to the martial artist realm, becoming a true master. The martial artist realm. Zheng Cheng's eyes revealed a fiery light. For a true martial artists were just children. They were not adults at all. Only the martial artist realm was a true master. Once one reached the martial artist realm, they could release their true chi and kill people in the air. Using the 100 steps divine fist, one punch from 100 meters away, the vibration of true chi could shatter a boulder. Only when one reached the martial artist realm would they be qualified to leave the city and go out to hunt monsters and fight against tyrannical enemies. As long as one did not advance to the martial artist realm, they were just ants. Zheng Cheng's eyes revealed a fierce light and he clenched his fists. In order to advance to the martial artist realm, he must obtain the secret technique, Heaven and Earth Audiovisual Technique. Whoever dared to stop him must die. Director Zheng. Suddenly, a young man at the fifth heaven of martial artist quickly ran over from the distance. He was one of Zheng Cheng's elite subordinates. His name was Song Hui. Chapter 27. Hearing the voice, Zheng Cheng didn't turn his head and stood with his hands behind his back. Say, what's the news? Reporting to Director Zheng. Song Hui immediately said, we haven't found the target for the time being, but someone came to report that we lost 5 or 6 people, all masters of the fourth heaven of the martial disciple realm, and they were killed in one blow. What? Zheng Cheng frowned. Killed in one blow? Tell me in detail. Song Hui thought for a moment and said, the places where those people died were abandoned buildings, remote alleys, etc. They were all caught off guard and were attacked. One punch shattered their hearts, shattered their lungs, and some even broke their necks. From this point, it can be seen that the other party's combat effectiveness is extremely strong, experienced, ruthless, and scheming, but I estimate that his strength does not exceed the fifth heaven of the martial disciple, otherwise he would not sneak attack. He immediately inferred a lot of conclusions from some clues. Indeed, I can see it. Judging from the wound of the traitor he killed, the power of the attack is very strong, but the cultivation is not high, the fifth heaven of the martial disciple is the top. Zheng Cheng's eyes showed a glimmer of light, but that guy is experienced and his fighting skills are strong, but he can't be underestimated. We must send out a master of the sixth heaven of the martial disciple to deal with him. But the company also needs to guard against the sneak attacks of other gangs, protect the company's property, and can't send out too many strong people. Let's call Zhenghua over, let him find the enemy, and kill him on the spot. What, Zhenghua? When Song Hui heard this, his eyes flickered. This Zhenghua was no one else, it was Zheng Cheng's biological son. He was only 18 years old, but he had the cultivation of the sixth heaven of the martial disciple realm. He was considered a genius of the Black Bear Company. And at a young age, he had already mixed in the underworld and had a lot of fighting experience. It could be said that he was very powerful. But this Zhenghua was Zheng Cheng's son after all, and the only son. If the other party had any accidents in the process of hunting, he was afraid that he could not bear this responsibility. Director Zheng, this matter is very dangerous, and the other party is a desperado. I'm afraid it's not appropriate. Song Hui's eyes flickered, and he couldn't help but remind. Zheng Qing waved his hand, don't worry, a mere martial artist of the fifth heavenly layer, how can he do anything to my son? Even if he can't beat the other party, he can still escape. Moreover, there are still a few months before he will apply for university. With his current strength, it is more or less a little insecure. I hope that he can gain a little more combat experience so that his chances of getting into a first-class university will be a little higher. Yes, Director Zheng. Since he had already said so, Song Hui had no reason to refuse and immediately went to do it. At night, in an abandoned warehouse in Black Moon City, the surroundings were desolate and uninhabited. Xia Ping was hiding in a remote room in the warehouse. It was very well hidden, and no one could find him. In order to avoid the pursuit of the Black Bear Corporation, he constantly broke out of the encirclement, and then beheaded another 5 or 6 gangsters, but also suffered some injuries. Finally, he broke out of the encirclement and came to this warehouse to rest temporarily. But after so many fierce battles, he more or less felt tired. Moreover, he hadn't eaten much until now. He was simply hungry and cold. No, if this continues, Xia Ping, will definitely die a violent death. Xia Ping clenched his fists. He didn't expect that this group of gangsters would be so fierce and ruthless, and all of them were desperados. Even if they saw their companions die, they didn't even frown. Instead, they attacked fiercely. A moment of carelessness, one of the murderers slashed him with a knife. Of course, he also slapped the other party's head into pieces with a backhand palm, beating him until he bled from his 7 orifices. But no matter what, he also suffered some injuries, and his combat effectiveness was also weakened a little. Although it's a little dangerous, but I still take the golden potion and advance to the realm of martial disciple. Xia Ping's eyes flickered, and he finally made up his mind. According to his current strength, if he continued like this, it would be a dead end. With a snap, he opened the package on his body and took out a golden potion. Gulu Gulu. Xia Ping didn't say anything and swallowed the bottle of golden potion. Immediately, he felt a lava-like energy enter his body, then merge into his blood, and flow in countless blood vessels. His heart was beating like a drum, his blood vessels surged, his muscles swelled, and there seemed to be lava flowing in his body, as if it was about to explode. It's too violent. He finally understood why the golden potion could only be taken by people at least at the 7th heaven of martial disciple. Because this potion is too violent, ordinary people will explode in an instant and die. Xia Ping felt that after this golden potion entered his body, the golden liquid, the violent energy flowed wildly, too violent, and his heart, blood vessels, and even his head seemed to be about to explode. Pure Yang immortal art. With a bang, he immediately ran this mental cultivation method and put on the posture of the 5 hearts facing the sky. The huge true qi in his body flowed, and immediately his dantian seemed to turn into a furnace. This violent golden energy flowing in his body seemed to be attracted by a mysterious force, pouring into the interior of the dantian, and then through the furnace refining, purification, and removal of impurities, the violent medicinal power was completely eliminated, leaving only the purest and mildest energy, and then poured into countless meridians. As expected of the pure yang immortal art, it's too powerful. Xia Ping sighed. Sure enough, after such a circulation of true qi, this violent energy, like a tamed wild wolf, became extremely docile. In fact, this is also normal. The pure yang immortal art, a top cultivation method, can even easily refine violent energy like the essence of the sun. A trivial golden potion is nothing at all. He felt this gentle energy pouring into his body, and every cell in his body seemed to be cheering, like a greedy tautai, constantly absorbing this energy, growing and evolving. Boom! After an unknown amount of time, when this energy reached the extreme, a meridian was instantly connected, and Xia Ping immediately felt that the true qi in his body was a lot stronger. Even at this moment, his muscles, meridians, bones, and skin were greatly strengthened, and the original scars also rapidly shrank, the injuries recovered, as if he had been transformed. A huge amount of true qi flowed around his body, like a rushing river, crashing, and a huge airflow shook around his body, cleaning away the dust around him. Success, promoted to the fifth heaven of martial disciple. Xia Ping clenched his fists, his eyes showing a glimmer of light, and his heart surged with endless joy. He finally connected the fifth meridian, promoted to the fifth heaven of martial disciple, and the true qi in his body was more than half stronger than before. With a bang, he couldn't help but punch, and immediately there was a burst of air in the air. His muscles passed inch by inch, like a tiger or a bear, and the power was terrifying. Chapter 28. Too strong. My current strength is even stronger than Xiong Beishan's. With a crack, Xia Ping randomly picked up a hard stone on the ground. He grabbed it hard and it immediately shattered. After squeezing a few more times, it actually turned into stone chips and flowed out from between his fingers. He also felt that his physique was unprecedentedly strong. After the tempering of the pure yang immortal art and the assistance of the golden potion, the surface of his body seemed to have a layer of golden light, like a diamond. In fact, the martial disciple realm was the realm of tempering the body. The stronger the body in this realm, the better it would be for the future, and the greater the potential. I've finally reached the fifth layer of martial disciple. Such a result is considered excellent even in school. Xia Ping clenched his fists, making crackling sounds as if he was squeezing the air. Before, Xiong Batian was only at the fifth layer of martial disciple, and that was enough to dominate the school. People like Zhou Tai and, who was at the sixth layer of martial disciple, were even more of a genius, enough to enter the top 10 of the school. According to Xia Ping's strength, if he met someone at the fourth layer of martial disciple, he could easily defeat someone at the fifth layer of martial disciple. Even someone at the sixth layer of martial disciple might not be his opponent. Among the gangsters surrounding him, there didn't seem to be many people at the sixth layer of martial disciple. Maybe he could finally get rid of those people, go to the station, and return to Tianshui City. But it's not safe. After all, those gangsters also have laser guns. If I encounter a group of people, it will be very dangerous. Xia Ping's eyes flashed. His heart was calm. Even though his strength had improved, he was not arrogant. Oh right, it seems that I also obtained a secret book called the Heaven and Earth Audiovisual Technique. If I can learn this secret book, maybe I can increase my strength. Thinking of this, he immediately opened the secret book and carefully read it, constantly trying to figure it out. Using a unique breathing technique to meditate, and then breaking the Baihui acupoint to produce mysterious spiritual power. Interesting, I don't know if I can do it. Xia Ping immediately closed his eyes. His breathing calmed down, and he began to breathe according to the secret breathing technique. 3 long breaths and 1 short breath. His chest rose and fell rhythmically, and there was a faint strange fluctuation in the surrounding air. In just a minute, he discovered that the entire world had changed. He felt as if he had entered a meditative state, and his spirit was one with heaven and earth. As he entered a meditative state, the soul strength in his mind began to move, forming a huge whirlpool that rumbled and shook. Even the air was affected by the ripples, emitting buzzing sounds. When this power reached its peak, a bang rang out and the Baihui acupoint on the top of his head seemed to have been easily broken by this mysterious soul power, causing a small crack to appear. Wisps of gray mist flowed out of this crack and floated in the depths of his mind. Immediately, Xia Ping felt a mysterious power being born in the depths of his body. This is the legendary mental strength? Xia Ping closed his eyes. As this power slowly extended outwards, he felt as if the entire world had brightened up. Within a radius of 20 meters, the ground, dust, mud, gravel, paper, and even the ants crawling on the ground, the mosquitoes flying in the air, and the water droplets falling from afar were all clearly sensed by him. It was as if he was looking from God's perspective. No, this is unbelievable, this is spiritual power. I did it, I actually succeeded in cultivating it. Xia Ping was inexplicably surprised. He had only wanted to give it a try, but he did not expect to succeed so quickly. He could feel that the effects of spiritual power were too great. Even with his eyes closed, he could clearly see his surroundings. Within the coverage of spiritual power, he was simply a god, omniscient and omnipotent. Of course, this was just an illusion, but it could not hide the strength of this spiritual power. This feeling. Xia Ping's heart skipped a beat. It seemed to be an instinct of his body. With a smack, he gently stretched out his right hand, and a fly that was flying around was gently caught between two of his fingers, unable to move. Then, he gently let go, and the fly seemed to be frightened and quickly flew away. Legend has it that the powerhouses of the martial warrior realm are extremely powerful. They can dodge laser guns, and even missiles can't lock onto them. This is simply beyond the limits of the human nervous system's reaction speed. Xia Ping's eyes flashed. I was still wondering how he could do this. If he had spiritual power, everything would be possible. It was no wonder that the Black Bear Corporation was so desperate to snatch this secret technique back. This secret technique was far too important. It was far from what an ordinary secret technique could compare to. However, not everyone can successfully cultivate this secret technique, Shuang said with a frown. Now, Xia Ping also knew why he could cultivate it so easily. There was no other reason, but because his spiritual power was strong, at least 10 times more than ordinary people. This secret technique was a supreme treasure for people with a strong soul, and they could succeed in cultivating it casually. But if it was an ordinary person, even if they obtained this secret technique, they could only stare. Even if one successfully entered a meditative state, ordinary soul power would not be able to break the Baihui acupoint. Only a person with a powerful soul like Xia Ping could easily break the acupoint, as though it was a rotten wood. Well, it seems that someone is coming. At this time, the sky outside was already bright. Unconsciously, he had already cultivated for a night. Xia Ping's heart moved, and his eyes and ears were sharp, and he immediately noticed that someone was coming outside the warehouse. However, he was not worried. After taking the golden potion, it had already replenished the energy in his body, and his spirit was full. Now that he had advanced to the 5th layer of the martial disciple realm, he had obtained spiritual power. No matter who came, he was not afraid. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Immediately, there seemed to be 7 or 8 strong men dressed in black outside the warehouse. One of them was a young man dressed in white, and his face was young, but he was the leader of this group. The young man in white looked arrogant, looking at one of the short men in black. Are you sure someone is hiding in this warehouse? If you dare to lie to me, do you know what the consequences will be? Young Master Zheng, of course I can be sure. The short man in black hurriedly said. Yesterday, I observed for a night, and found that there were bursts of strange sounds coming from here from time to time. There is definitely someone inside. Originally, No one would appear here, but last night it appeared, so I suspect that the person hiding inside is likely to be the person being chased by the Black Bear Company, so I came to report. If there is even half a lie, the heavens will strike me with lightning." He swore to the heavens. "Very good. If you really find the murderer, you will have done a great service, and will be heavily rewarded." The young man in white also knew how to control his subordinates, giving a sweet date after a slap. "Thank you, young Master Zheng." The short man in black was immediately overjoyed, but before he could say anything else, there was a whoosh, and a stone flew out of the warehouse window, extremely fast, tearing through the air like a sniper bullet. Chapter 29. What? Seeing this, the white-robed young man and the others were shocked. They could only watch helplessly as the short man was killed. His head was smashed by a stone, and a pile of red and white matter flowed out. It was like a watermelon had exploded. This short man was at least at the fourth heavenly layer of martial arts, but he was killed just like that. He couldn't even struggle. "Damn it, dodge!" A black-clothed man shouted hoarsely. He was very experienced and instinctively felt his hair stand up. He immediately knew that they must have been targeted by a master. But it was too late. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the blink of an eye, 4 or 5 stones flew out of the warehouse window, like sniper bullets, extremely fast, silently tearing through the air. The first 3 or 4 black-clothed men couldn't react so quickly. With a few bangs, the stones were extremely terrifying and produced a terrifying force, piercing their chests in an instant. Immediately, a big hole appeared in their chests, and their hearts were blown on the spot, bleeding a lot. "Dodge, hurry up and dodge. If we don't dodge, we will die. There are strong enemies in the warehouse." The remaining 4 or 5 black-clothed men shouted in horror. How could they think that the gangster hiding in the warehouse was so terrifying? Just the stones that could be seen everywhere had become as terrifying as a sniper rifle. This was also normal. Xia Ping was promoted to the 5th heavenly layer of martial arts, and his strength had greatly increased. He had a huge force of 3,000 jin. According to such strength, even a small thing would become an extremely terrifying weapon, let alone a stone. This was actually nothing. It was said that some martial artists had a strength of hundreds of thousands of jin, and they could shake the earth with a wave of their hand. Such a character could even pick a leaf and use it as a flying knife to kill people. A drop of water could be turned into a mortar and destroy a city. This was the true power of martial arts. Damn it! The young man in white and the 5 black-clothed men quickly dodged. Their faces changed greatly as they dodged to the surrounding places with obstacles, hoping to avoid the enemy's attack. But how could they know that Xia Ping had practiced the heaven and earth audio-visual grand technique and cultivated spiritual power? The wind and grass within a radius of 20 meters were all under his control, and their whereabouts were nowhere to hide. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Another 4 or 5 stones flew out, heading in different directions. Their power was terrifying, producing whistling sounds in the air and even creating dazzling sparks. With a bang, 2 stones pierced through the cement wall. 2 brawny men in black who were trying to hide under the corner of the wall were unable to dodge in time and were hit in the head by the stones on the spot. Their heads exploded like watermelons, and they were killed instantly. Another 3 black-clothed men tried to hide beside a huge metal barrel, but the stone pierced through the metal barrel with terrifying penetrative power and directly exploded on their bodies. Ah! The 3 black-robed men screamed as their bodies were sent flying by the 3 stones. They flew for dozens of meters in the air before falling to the ground. However, when they fell to the ground, they died a horrible death. Their black eyes turned white, revealing a look of horror. Their internal organs were completely shattered by the power of the stone. Even with the current technology, it was impossible to save them. Another stone flew out, blasting towards the white-clothed young man with a biting cold murderous aura. Like a meteor, it was going to completely kill the white-clothed young man. "You're courting death." The white-clothed young man shouted angrily. With a clang, he actually pulled out a meter-long broadsword from his body and fiercely slashed out, splitting mountains and rivers. With a bang, the stone was split in half on the spot. The cut was smooth. "If you have the guts, come out and fight me, Zhenhua, for 300 rounds. Hiding in the warehouse and sneaking attacks, what kind of man are you?" Zhenhua shouted angrily. He was shocked and angry. Originally, he had brought his men here to kill the murderer, to make a great contribution to his father, and to let the other people of the Black Bear Corporation see how powerful he was. He also thought that with his strength, as long as he found the murderer, he would be able to easily kill him. There was no need to waste any effort at all. Who would have thought that before he even saw the murderer, all his men would be dead? One by one, they were killed by the other. "Stupid, this is a fight, a war. Either you die or I live. How can I fight you for 300 rounds?" Xia Ping sneered in the warehouse. He could see at a glance that Zhenhua was just an ordinary student, a greenhouse flower with no experience, so he would say such ridiculous words. Such a person was not to be feared even if his cultivation reached the 6th heaven of martial disciple. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant, Xia Ping clenched his right hand, blue veins bulging, producing a huge force, and threw out 9 stones at the same time. Immediately, the 9 stones divided into different trajectories and attacked, with a trace of inexplicable charm. Originally, his ability to throw hidden weapons was not very good, and he had not practiced it. However, after practicing the heaven and earth audiovisual technique and cultivating spiritual power, everything within a radius of 20 meters was within his control. In this range, he was a god. Wherever he pointed, he would hit 100 shots. Although this kind of hidden weapon technique was not comparable to a real top master, it was enough to kill these underworld figures. "Bastard!" The white-clothed young man, Zhenhua, shouted angrily. Feeling the terrifying murderous intent coming from the opposite side, his whole body suddenly became cold, and his hair stood up. It seemed that he had encountered a life and death crisis. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In any case, he was also a genius, and his saber technique had been trained to perfection. In the blink of an eye, in this life and death crisis, he broke through his previous limits, and in a breath's time, he actually slashed out 9 times, each blade emitting a terrifying force. With a few bangs, the 9 stones in the air were smashed to pieces. But before Zhenhua could show a look of joy, he suddenly felt a threat of death. A huge shadow like a fierce tiger, jumped out of the warehouse, emitting a fierce aura. With a whoosh, the other party actually came to his side. But now, Zhenhua had just smashed 9 stones, and his strength was exhausted. How could he have any strength left to resist such a terrifying attack? He could only watch helplessly. "No, no, no, you can't kill me. My father is Zheng Cheng, the director of the Black Bear Corporation. If you kill me, you won't be able to leave Black Moon City. You also have to die, you also have to die here, do you understand?" Zhenhua finally felt fear, and couldn't help but shout. Boom! With a punch, the faint roar of a fierce mountain tiger could be heard in the air, shaking the heavens and the earth. The air seemed to have solidified, and the fist landed solidly on Zhenhua's chest. With a bang, Zhenhua's whole body flew out like a piece of paper, sliding dozens of meters, and finally falling against the wall of the warehouse. His heart was smashed on the spot, and a bloody hole appeared in his chest. His eyes were wide open, and he died with remaining grievances. Chapter 30. 1. Seeing that all these enemies were killed, Xia Ping also breathed a sigh of relief, and the boiling blood slowly cooled down. His fierce heart beat until now, and it can't stop for a long time. He felt as if he was in a dream. Obviously, he was just an ordinary student in the 3rd heaven of martial arts. It was hard to even get into a third-rate university. The best ending was just to follow his father's footsteps and become a city management officer, living a peaceful life. But now he has been promoted to the 5th heaven of martial arts. Even these ferocious underworld characters and the strong of the 6th heaven of martial arts were killed by his own hands and blown up with a punch. It can be said that Xia Ping's strength has made leaps and bounds. Huh? Isn't this a recovery potion? Xia Ping stepped forward and searched the things on the young man in white. Sure enough, this person's identity is not ordinary. Just looking at it casually, he immediately found 4 or 5 bottles of recovery potion. This kind of potion can replenish the physical strength of the 6th heaven of martial arts and restore the lost true qi. A bottle of such recovery potion is worth 100,000 yuan. It is not a local tyrant who can't afford it at all. It is estimated that these recovery potions were prepared by this kid for a rainy day. Unfortunately, he didn't even have a chance to use it and was personally killed by Xia Ping. There seems to be a secret book. Xia Ping also saw that this kid also had a martial arts secret book on him, which seemed to be called Jiankuan 3 Talents Saber Technique. It may be the saber skill he learned himself, and its power should not be underestimated. If this secret book is sold, it may be worth at least 1 million federal coins. Go to the warehouse and see, I seem to hear screams coming out. No, is there an enemy there? Let's go and see, it's probably the murderer has appeared, and we can't let go of any wind and grass. Suddenly, there was a whistling sound in the distance. The movement here was too big just now, and it also attracted the attention of the Black Bear Company's patrols around, and a group of people rushed over. No, I have to go. I can't stay in this place for a long time. Otherwise, once I am surrounded, I will die. Xia Ping immediately put these things away and fled quickly. Just a few minutes after Xia Ping left, a group of black-clothed men immediately arrived around the warehouse. They soon found the bodies of 7 or 8 black-clothed strong men lying on the ground. Damn it, these are not the security guards of the Black Bear Company. I saw them in the company before. How come they are all dead now? Who killed them? A man in black was shocked. The other black-clothed men were also shocked. They knew that these black-clothed security guards had the cultivation base of the 4th heavenly layer, and some even reached the 5th heavenly layer, but now they were all dead. One could imagine how powerful the enemy was. Look, there's also a dead person over there. Another black-clothed man noticed that not far away, there seemed to be a white-clothed young man lying motionlessly on the ground. With a whoosh, a middle-aged man immediately rushed over. When he saw the appearance of the young man in white, his expression changed drastically. The corners of his mouth trembled. Damn it, this is Director Zheng's son, Zhenghua. No way, he's Director Zheng's son. I heard that Director Zheng ordered his son to go after the murderer last night, but he's dead now. It must have been done by that murderer. Both sides fought at close quarters, and Zhenghua was killed. Zhenghua is Director Zheng's only son. Now that he's dead, won't Director Zheng go crazy? This is a big deal, reported immediately. A group of black-clothed men looked dignified. They knew that Zhenghua was a famous genius. At a young age, he reached the realm of the 6th heavenly layer. His future was limitless, and he had always been the pride of Director Zheng. But now this genius was dead, and his heart was blown out by a punch. How could this be? Once this matter is known by Director Zheng, I don't know how much terrifying anger will erupt. Immediately, the middle-aged black-clothed man immediately took out the communicator and reported the matter to the Black Bear Company. No matter what, this matter can't be concealed, and it must be reported immediately. A few minutes later, on the top floor of a building, Zheng Cheng, the director of the Black Bear Company, also received the news. Immediately, his eyes turned black, and he roared up to the sky. Ah! You dare to kill my son, no matter who you are, no matter where you hide, no matter how big your background is, Zheng Cheng will definitely kill you and tear you into pieces. Zheng Cheng let out a terrifying roar, and the air billowed. With the building as the center, his mourning could be heard within 10 kilometers. The cement floor on the roof was shaken by the sound waves, and it actually emitted a crack. Some security guards of the Black Bear Company near the top of the building were scared to retreat again and again. They did not dare to approach at all, for fear of being hurt by this aftermath. Director Song Hui next to him looked at Zheng Qing worriedly. What he was worried about finally happened. Zheng Hua is my son, my only son. Zheng Qing yelled angrily, I have worked hard to raise him for 18 years, I don't know how much resources and money have been wasted, just to make him a talent. Zheng Qing is useless. Until now, I am just a waste of the 9th heavenly layer of martial arts. That's all my life's achievements, so all I can count on in this life is my son. But now he is dead, killed by a traitor, and 18 years of hard work are in vain. You say you can't bear this breath, you say I can't bear it? He was furious to the extreme. Can't bear it? Song Hui said solemnly. Yes, absolutely can't bear it. Zheng Qing clenched his fists, almost biting blood, and said, convey my orders, let all the people of the Black Bear Company go out, block the radius of 100 miles, and block the station. I want that kid to be unable to escape. Doesn't he want to escape? I seal the entire area, I want to see where he can escape. After killing my son, I want to run away, I tell him there is no way. Once I catch that bastard, I will tear him into pieces. Even his friends, relatives, and parents, I will arrest them together and destroy the 9 generations. He gritted his teeth, and he was so angry that he was about to go crazy. Originally, he wanted his son to chase the murderer, just for experience, but now he didn't get experience, but even his life was lost. How could he be willing? If he doesn't catch that kid and torture him out of shape, he will not give up. Yes, Director. Song Hui immediately went down to convey the order. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Immediately, an order was given, and the members of the Black Bear Company distributed around Black Moon City immediately took action. They appeared in the streets and alleys of this area, and even the station was filled with their people. They checked every passenger entering the station, and the purpose was to make sure that the murderer had absolutely no chance to escape. Chapter 31. Just when Xia Ping was planning to go to the station to leave Black Moon City, suddenly the sound of the system came out of his mind. Someone has a hatred for the host, rewarding 1,000 hatred points. What? Hearing this voice, Xia Ping was also shocked. There was actually someone who had developed an unending hatred towards him. Just who was it? It seems that he didn't do anything bad. He just killed a few gangster madmen. Is it because he killed the young man in white? He immediately thought of the young man he had just killed. The other party knew at a glance that he was either rich or noble. He was not an ordinary person. Now that the other party was killed by him, it will definitely cause big trouble. However, Xia Ping didn't expect that someone would hate him so much that they wouldn't stop until they were dead. Indeed, the situation is really a bit wrong. Xia Ping walked cautiously towards the station. When he walked to an alley near the station, he immediately found that the gangsters patrolling around were 5 or 6 times more than before. He could clearly see men in black, all of them tall and strong, wearing sunglasses, walking around the station, almost covering every corner of the station, as if they were soldiers, heavily guarded. Any passenger approaching the station will be stopped by these black-clothed men and searched for their belongings. If there is no problem, they will be put on the train and allowed to leave. Once there is any problem, they will be immediately caught and tortured. It seems that I have really caused a big trouble. It is estimated that the identity of the dead young man is not simple. Xia Ping's eyes flickered, and at the same time, he used the heaven and earth audiovisual technique to perceive the situation around him. He immediately found that not only the station, but even the vicinity was full of hidden black-clothed men. They all stared at every pedestrian passing by with a serious expression, and they would never let go of any suspicious personnel. Soon, Xia Ping found that there were several black-clothed men chatting nearby. Gee, it's a big battle. I haven't seen such a scene for a long time. Isn't it? I heard that Director Zheng was furious. He used his highest authority to mobilize the members of the entire company, and even ordered the peripheral members to capture the murderer. Once someone is caught, there will be a reward. This is normal. His son was killed. Who is not angry? Gee, the murderer is dead. Director Zheng said that once the murderer is caught, he will be immediately dismembered, and even find out his identity and exterminate his family. It's really cruel. He even implicated his family, but this is the end of offending our Black Bear Company. Yes, there is no one who dares to kill my Black Bear Company and can leave unscathed. Be smart, don't let the murderer escape. Of course, I have been watching, and I will never let any suspicious personnel go. The black-robed men discussed among themselves as they looked around vigilantly. Hearing these words, Xia Ping's face suddenly became gloomy. He didn't expect the Black Bear Corporation to be so ruthless. If his true identity was discovered by the other party, it would definitely bring great trouble to his family. Fortunately, he was prepared in advance, changing his appearance with a mask, and the other party couldn't find his identity unless he was caught. The people of the Black Bear Company shouldn't have seen my appearance. I was very careful the previous few times. Xia Ping's eyes flickered. But it's almost impossible to get on the train unscathed. Once I get close to the train, the golden medicine and secret manuals on me will be discovered immediately. If he abandoned these things, of course, he could escape safely, but he was not willing to do so. He did not want to let others take advantage of these things, so he wanted to have the best of both worlds. By the way, I have to see if there is anything in the system shop that can help me get out of my current predicament. Xia Ping thought of something and immediately clicked on the system shop in his mind to check the items on it. Half an hour later, he finally found something useful. Invisible pill, worth 1,200 hatred points. This kind of medicinal pill had a special effect. Once consumed, it would immediately conceal one's aura and make one invisible. Living beings in the surroundings wouldn't be able to detect one's existence at all. The effect lasted for 1 hour. If he took this pill, he could easily leave this place. But Tang Tian was extremely pained by this. This was a full 1,200 hatred points. He had accumulated it for a long time, and so far he only had more than 1,000 hatred points. How could he be willing to lose more than half just to exchange for this pill? No, I absolutely can't let the Black Bear Company go like this. They forced me into such a desperate situation and sent so many people to kill me. If I don't repay the kindness of the Black Bear Company, wouldn't it seem that I am very polite? Xia Ping's eyes showed a glimmer of light, and his mind immediately made various plans. He must hit the Black Bear Company hard before he was willing to leave Black Moon City, otherwise he would not be able to swallow this breath. An hour later, on the first floor of the Black Bear Company building, Zheng Cheng, his men Song Hui, and several confidants were standing in the hall on the first floor. Their faces were very gloomy, and the atmosphere was very depressing. What the hell is going on? Zheng Cheng stared at his men, and his anger broke out. An hour has passed, do you know? You can't find any clues at all. What's the use of waste like you? He couldn't believe this fact. He clearly used the resources of the entire company, and tens of thousands of members were dispatched to surround this area. According to normal logic, even a fly can't fly out. But they couldn't find it. They couldn't find anything. The murderer seemed to have become invisible and disappeared without a trace. I'm sorry. Song Hui said with a bitter smile, Supervisor, we really did our best. All the people were dispatched, and even searched every passerby, but to no avail. It was as if that guy disappeared from the world. Before, we could still find a trace, but half an hour ago, that guy disappeared without a trace. I dare to guess that guy must have accomplices, and their forces are not simple. The others also nodded. Without the help of accomplices, it was impossible to get rid of their tracking. Rice Bucket, all a bunch of rice buckets. Zheng Cheng was furious and had a very bad temper, but he also knew that Black Moon City was not only an underworld force of the Black Bear Company, but also many gangs that were stronger than the Black Bear Company. If those gangsters were to help, even the Black Bear Corporation would have no choice but to admit defeat. But the Black Bear Company could admit defeat, and he, Zheng Cheng, absolutely could not. Supervisor. Chapter 32. What? Hearing Song Hui's words, everyone else was taken aback and immediately looked over. A piece of white paper was stuck to the door like this, and there seemed to be some words written on it. What happened? When did this piece of white paper appear here? Zheng Cheng's face was gloomy, and he shouted angrily, "What the hell are you doing? How can you scribble here casually?" No, I remember very clearly that there was no white paper on this door. It suddenly appeared here. Song Hui felt a chill in his heart. It's definitely not our people who did it. Suddenly appeared. Everyone present felt a chill rising from the soles of their feet. They were all strong martial artists, but they didn't notice anything. Suddenly, a piece of white paper was pasted nearby. If the other party wanted to assassinate them, wouldn't it be easy? Go and see, what's written on it. Zheng Cheng frowned deeply. He also felt that this matter was unusual. According to his cultivation base of the 9th heavenly layer, it was impossible not to notice any movement. But he couldn't feel anything, which was very strange. Yes. Song Hui resisted the fear in his heart, stepped forward to look at it, and read the words on it. Thank you for your love for me. For this, I will send a big gift to the Black Bear Company. I am very grateful. Signed, Huang. Big gift? Everyone present looked at each other and didn't know what to say. What kind of gift was this? Could it be said that the other party did this kind of thing just to thank their Black Bear Company? The problem was that their Black Bear Company was an underworld force that did all kinds of evil, killed countless people, destroyed families, and had never done a good deed. They were given big gifts and thanked by others, not even once. Who is Huang? Zheng Cheng asked. Song Hui and others all shook their heads. I don't know, I've never heard of this name. Damn it, no, there's danger here, run quickly. Suddenly, Zheng Cheng's hair stood up, and a strong threat spread all over his body in an instant, and the fear of death enveloped his sixth sense. With a whoosh, his whole body muscles tightened, like a polar bear, and he ran out of the building violently, directly with the whistling wind. But it was too late. Boom! At this moment, the timed miniature nuclear bomb ambushed in the Black Bear Company immediately exploded. The power was equivalent to hundreds of tons of explosives, and the entire Black Bear Company building was blown to pieces. Even the area within a radius of several hundred meters was razed to the ground. An extremely powerful shockwave swept out in all directions, and the air seemed to condense into a solid substance. The earth trembled, and the glass within several kilometers was shattered. No. Song Hui and the others screamed, their eyes showing extreme horror, but their reaction speed could not keep up with Zheng Cheng at all, and they were buried in the Black Bear Corporation in an instant, blown up alive. Even though Zheng Cheng's reaction speed was extremely fast and he was strong enough, the power of the explosion was still too terrifying. He was directly injured by the huge explosion, and even countless boulders fell from the sky. These were the reinforced concrete of the building. They fell from the sky like meteors, and it was enough to smash a terrifying deep pit on the ground. Bang bang bang. A few minutes later, the entire Black Bear Company was blown to pieces, with building waste stones everywhere, broken, and a huge deep pit on the ground, as if it was no different from the ruins. A figure struggled out of the rubble, his whole body was bloody, seriously injured, and his face was ferocious. It seemed that he was extremely angry. He was Zheng Cheng, worthy of being a powerhouse of the 9th heavenly layer of martial arts. Even if he was suddenly attacked by such a terrorist attack, he could escape in the first place. Huang! Zheng Cheng screamed at the sky, almost bursting his lungs. "You dare to blow up my Black Bear Company building, dare to do such a rebellious thing. Do you think you can escape? Can you still live? You're dead, you know. No one can save you even if it's in heaven and earth. I swear, I will catch you, tear you to pieces, and destroy your family." He had never felt so angry. Someone dared to deal with him, dared to deal with the Black Bear Company, and even ambushed a timed miniature nuclear bomb, blowing up the entire Black Bear Company building. Unprecedented, this is simply an unprecedented event. This is clearly a provocation, a slap in the face of the Black Bear Company, a humiliation to them. If their Black Bear Company does not fight back and do not catch this Huang, their Black Bear Company will have no face, and they will be completely unable to lift their heads in Black Moon City. And he, Zheng Cheng, will also step down because of this incident and be hit hard, and the position of director will definitely not be maintained. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, more than a dozen stones flew in the distance, like sniper bullets, tearing the air, making a sharp sound, and the power was extremely terrifying, covering Zheng Cheng's body in an instant. What? There's still an ambush? Zheng Cheng was stunned. He didn't expect to blow up the entire Black Bear Company building. Instead, the murderer stayed in place and killed any survivors. But after all, he is a powerhouse of the 9th heavenly layer of martial arts. Even if he was hit by a bomb and lost most of his combat power, he still has a little strength, which is not comparable to ordinary people. Bang bang bang. He shot like lightning, and in an instant, he blasted out 9 punches, each punch with more than 10,000 pounds of force, like the roar of a bear, extremely terrifying, not knowing how much more terrifying than Xiong Beishan's fist. In an instant, these stones were smashed into pieces, and the fist energy shot everywhere. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. However, the enemy's attack did not give him a chance to breathe at all. More than a dozen lasers shot, almost covering Zheng Cheng's body. Each laser was aimed at the vital parts. Once hit, he would definitely be killed. Bastard! Zheng Cheng gasped and tried his best to resist. His figure flickered, and with a jump, his legs were like springs, and he jumped out of the range of laser shooting. Before he could relax, suddenly, a terrible force came, like a tiger roaring, so wonderful that Zheng Cheng's flaws were caught, so that he could not fight back at all. Boom! This punch hit Zheng Cheng's chest solidly, breaking 3 ribs on the spot, and the whole person flew out, like paper scraps, without any resistance at all. Who is it? Who the hell is it? Is it you, is it Huang? Zheng Cheng screamed, and he was extremely angry because he didn't see anyone around him until now. Even if he was hit by a punch, he didn't see who attacked him, as if the enemy could be invisible. Yes, I am Huang. A voice sounded from the air. With a swish, a laser shot out. No, no, no. When Zheng Cheng saw this, he was terrified to the extreme. He couldn't dodge in the air, and there was no place to borrow strength. He couldn't dodge at all. The laser arrived in the blink of an eye, and with a bang, his head was blown up in an instant. Chapter 33. Xia Ping stared coldly at Zheng Cheng's death. His heart didn't waver at all. This was war. If Zheng Cheng didn't die, he would have to wait for his revenge. In that case, he would die, and his family would die. There was no right or wrong, only a standpoint. From another perspective, if he was captured by the other party, he would be in a state worse than death, so he couldn't hold back. I didn't expect things to go so smoothly. Xia Ping's eyes flashed. After exchanging for the invisible pill, he secretly came to the vicinity of the Black Bear Company, observed the surroundings, and then took the invisible pill. Then, relying on the fact that no one found him, he swaggered into the internal warehouse of the Black Bear building and searched wantonly. After all, this was a black market that sold drugs, monster meat, potions, pills, weapons, and all kinds of prohibited items. Unfortunately, there were very few things on him that he could carry. In the end, he only managed to find 20 bottles of golden potions. As for the other things, he either didn't want them or couldn't carry them, so he could only give them up regretfully. Finally, he found several timed miniature nuclear bombs in the warehouse and set the time to explode, blowing up the entire Black Bear building and burying all the enemies inside. The plan went very smoothly. No one could stop him. Even the main culprit, Zheng Cheng, was killed by him. However, actually blowing up the entire Black Bear building, I'm afraid it will really provoke the Black Bear Company. Xia Ping looked at the Black Bear building that had been turned into ruins in front of him. He knows that the headquarters of the Black Bear Company is not in this place. This building is just a branch. After the explosion, it will not hurt the Black Bear Company. But this would definitely enrage the other party. Forget it. Anyway, after this matter is over, I will return to Tianshui City. I don't think I will be able to return here in the future. If I offend them, then so be it. Xia Ping rolled his eyes. If offending them is inevitable, then it's better to be more ruthless. When he thought of this, he immediately used the laser gun and pulled the trigger. He carved a few large words on the ground and placed them clearly in front of Zheng Cheng's corpse, murderer and arsonist, Huang. This Huang was a codename he came up with, the goal to confuse them. Alright, that's it. Let's buy a ticket and return to Tianshui City. Seeing these words, Xia Ping was very satisfied. He threw away the laser gun, grabbed a bag from his body, and fled towards the train station. The effects of the invisible pill only had half an hour left, so he had to hurry. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Not long after Xia Ping left, more than a dozen figures ran over from afar. They were all members of the Black Bear Company. They were patrolling the area, and when they heard the explosion, they all rushed over. What's going on? Our company building was destroyed. A man in a black suit was shocked. He couldn't believe his eyes. The building, which was dozens of floors high, was now in ruins. And the gang members inside all died horribly inside. Look, Director Zheng is also dead. His head was blown up by a bullet. Another man in a black suit also looked at the body lying on the ground in disbelief. That person was Zheng Cheng, who had the cultivation base of the 9th heavenly layer. Damn it, which bastard did this? This matter is too serious. We can't handle it. We have to inform the headquarters. More than a dozen men in black suits talked about it, and their faces were ugly to the extreme. They immediately took out their communicators and notified the top executives of the Black Bear Company's headquarters to come over. Half an hour later, a hovering car flew from the air and landed on the ground one after another. With a snap, the door opened, and a man in a training suit walked out of the car with a strong aura. The one in the lead was a middle-aged man with a scar on his face, dressed in a white training suit. He walked out of the hover car, and a group of people stood respectfully behind him, not even daring to breathe loudly. He is Dian, a veteran of the Black Bear Company, a strong man who has reached the martial warrior realm. Murderer and arsonist. The scarred man, Dian, saw the big words in front of Zheng Cheng's body at a glance, and his eyes were full of murderous intent. What a big courage, what a big dog courage, come to my Black Bear Company to kill and set fire, and dare to leave a name. This Huang, who is it? He looked at the dozen men in black suits in front of him. I don't know, he may be a rookie. A man in a black suit said quickly, but it is certain that he has an extremely close relationship with the traitor of our company. It is said that he killed the traitor of the company in an alley and snatched the 20 bottles of golden potions and the secret book worth more than 100 million yuan. So, Director Zheng issued an order to send countless experts to chase him, but unexpectedly, he killed more than a dozen people, and even Director Zheng's son died tragically in his hands. But we never thought that he would be so crazy that he would directly kill our Black Bear Company building and blow Director Zheng's head, and the entire building was buried with him. He was furious. Even if he broke his head, he didn't expect this guy to be so cruel. He was surrounded by them and almost fell into a dead end, but he still wanted to fight back. It was too hateful. The other men in black suits were very angry. No one had ever dared to provoke the Black Bear Company like this, kill their people, destroy their nest, and rob their property. If they were still indifferent, would they still be considered gangsters? Good, very good. Diane was so angry that he laughed. You killed my people, stole our belongings, and even left your name blatantly. What a good murder and arson. It seems that our Black Bear Company has been completely underestimated. Immediately put a global warrant for Huang. I don't care who he is, no matter what background he has, he dares to come to Black Moon City and shit on the head of my Black Bear Company, I will never spare him. As long as someone can provide a clue, there will be a reward. As long as you find a clue, kill him. No one can offend my Black Bear Company and be safe and sound. With a bang, he slammed his palm on the ground, and the infuriating was released. A terrifying force exploded out and hit the ground fiercely. All of a sudden, a huge deep pit with a diameter of 5 or 6 meters appeared. Countless cracks spread like a spider web. The whole earth was shaking, and the sound waves spread 5 or 6 kilometers away. Yes. A group of Black Bear Company members shouted, their eyes were incomparably angry, and they were looked down upon to this extent. If they didn't catch this Huang, they would not give up. At this time, Xia Ping had already boarded the train back to Tianshui City. At this time, the medicinal power of the invisible pill has now disappeared, and his figure is revealed. Before he entered the station without anyone noticing, he stayed in the toilet until the medicinal effect disappeared before getting on the train. Even if the Black Bear Company is powerful, it only dares to wait outside and does not dare to enter the station to make trouble. After all, it is an enemy of the federal government and it is courting death. Chapter 34. Tianshui City, Xia Ping's home. The next morning, the sun shone in through the window, extremely soft. Call. Xia Ping sat on the big bed in the bedroom and exhaled a long breath, almost condensed into a substance, turning into a white chain, and the true qi in his body surged like the tide of the sea, making his body full of explosive power. He suddenly opened his eyes and shot out a terrifying golden light. A mysterious power flickered in the depths of his pupils, as if it could pierce through the void. After a night of cultivation, he had also taken a bottle of golden potion, which had increased the Zhen qi in his body by a lot. He was a little stronger than the day before, and his strength was increasing every moment. As expected of the golden potion, the energy contained is extremely pure and huge, which is not comparable to ordinary energy potions. Xia Ping's eyes flickered, very satisfied. Last night, he absorbed a bottle of golden potion to assist his cultivation and run the pure yang immortal secret art. As a result, he made rapid progress. In just one night, it was comparable to the past 3 months of cultivation. It is conceivable how much the golden potion helped him. However, the price is also very expensive. A bottle costs 500,000 federal coins. Such a price is not affordable by ordinary people. At least the super-rich can take it at will. Fortunately, this trip to Black Moon City actually let me get 40 bottles of golden potions. This time it's really a big deal. Xia Ping smiled slightly. He originally wanted to go to Black Moon City to buy golden potions. But who could have thought that there would be such a dangerous accident, and he almost died in that city of sin. Fortunately, he came back safely and even got a golden potion worth 20 million federal coins. This is a huge sum of money. Even if he writes novels, it is estimated that it will not come so fast. Of course, this is also a windfall, a thief, and can't see the light of day. Once it is seen, it is estimated that the people of the Black Bear Company will come to the door, and even the government will find him to settle accounts and pursue legal liability. At that time, he will be in danger. But no matter what, he came back safely, and even got great benefits, which is a good thing in terms of results. Take another 3 or 4 bottles of golden potions, and spend a month. I estimate that I can connect the 6th meridian and break through to the 6th heaven of martial arts. Xia Ping squeezed his fist. The reason why it takes a month is that he can't take the golden potion continuously. The so-called too much is as bad as not enough, and the body's absorption is limited. Every time he took a bottle of golden elixir, he would need to spend a week to train his body, completely digest and absorb the energy of the golden elixir, and consolidate his martial arts foundation. If he took too much at once, not only would it not be good for his body, but it would also damage his martial arts foundation, causing it to be unstable. At that time, it would be very difficult for him to advance to the martial artist realm or even higher realms. But is there no way to increase the efficiency of energy absorption? Xia Ping's eyes flickered. Although the efficiency of breaking through to the 6th heavenly layer in a month was already very fast, he felt that it was still not enough. After all, there were only 4 months left before the college entrance examination. If he didn't strengthen his cultivation as soon as possible, he wouldn't be able to get a good result during the college entrance examination, and he wouldn't be able to enter a good university. Suddenly, the system's voice sounded, "Host, there is still a way." What? Xia Ping was shocked. He didn't expect the system to suddenly jump out. But he quickly calmed down and immediately asked, "What is the method? Tell me." "There is a technique called the Dark North Body Protection Technique." The system replied, "It is a supreme body protection technique. It is extremely powerful. It can absorb the power, energy, and so on of the enemy's attack and transform it into the energy of your own body. Even through the enemy's attacks and beatings, the body cells, muscle tissues, bones, etc. are destroyed, and then the mysterious life energy is circulated to continuously repair the damaged body tissues, which can greatly enhance the speed of the body's absorption of energy, and the physique will become stronger. If the host cultivates this body protection technique, and then constantly competes with others and is beaten by others, it can quickly digest the excess energy of the body and continue to become stronger." Dark North Body Protection Technique? Xia Ping's eyes lit up immediately. Being beaten by others can constantly become stronger and increase the efficiency of the body's absorption of energy. What a convenient auxiliary technique this is. It's too incredible. Even on Yanhuang's star, he has never heard of such a mysterious cultivation method, but if this cultivation method is real, then it is simply the best auxiliary cultivation method for him. But he still calmed down. How much hatred does this technique need? He knew that there was no wasted lunch in the world, and the system in his body was even more so. It takes a total of 1 million hatred points to exchange. The system replied. Xia Ping's mouth twitched. Sure enough, I knew it. How can such a powerful technique be cheap? The hatred points on me are probably not even a fraction. His expression was a little helpless. No. The system said, "This is the price of an entire secret book, but the host can only exchange for the first level of the secret book, and the rest can be exchanged later. This is a discount for the host. You can do this, isn't this payment in installments?" Xia Ping's eyes lit up. For his current martial arts realm, it was a bit extravagant to exchange for the entire secret book. It was just the first level of the secret book, which was enough for his current cultivation. "Say, how much do you need to exchange for the first level of the secret book?" The system said, "It takes 3,000 hatred points to exchange for the first level of the secret book." 3,000 hatred points? Xia Ping asked, "Do I have enough hatred points now?" The host has a total of 2,600 hatred points, and there are still 400 left. The system said honestly. Still 400? Xia Ping was a little regretful. When he was in Black Moon City, he killed many members of the Black Bear Company and caused a great disaster. Many people of the Black Bear Company hated him, which brought him a lot of hatred points. Not only did he recover the loss of the invisible pill, but he also made a small profit and got some benefits. But he didn't expect that it was still not enough. By the way, tomorrow. Xia Ping suddenly remembered something, and his eyes lit up. Tomorrow is Monday, the day of the school fighting competition. I will represent the class at that time. Countless students will watch the battle below. This is the best opportunity to pull hatred. If you want to get hatred points, of course, the more people the better. Tomorrow is the opportunity. I believe that with his ability to attract hatred, it is easy to get 400 hatred points. And Zhou Tai, then. Chapter 35. In the morning, Tianshui City 95th High School. At this time, students gathered on a huge playground, divided into classes and lined up, standing densely together. The number of students in the school reached at least tens of thousands. Because this fighting competition is an annual event of the school, it is equivalent to the sports conference of the previous Earth, even more lively than the sports conference, and students are more enthusiastic to participate. So before the start of the fighting competition, all the students in the school will gather together, listen to the lecture of the school leaders, then assign the order of the duel, and then start the fighting competition. Because the number of participants is not very large, only 3 levels higher can participate, so the entire fighting competition will be over in one day. Not too much time will be wasted. Xia Ping entered the school and came to the playground, and soon found the team of his class. He actually saw Gao Maru and Yang Wei, who he had not seen for a long time. "Hey, brother, long time no see." Xia Ping immediately went up and said hello. Gao Maru and Yang Wei were chatting happily when they heard a demonic voice ringing in their ears. They couldn't help shivering and soon saw Xia Ping, who they wanted to beat up. "Damn it, I haven't seen Xia Ping for a week." Both of them gnashed their teeth and stared at Xia Ping. Xia Ping didn't care. Instead, he patted them on the shoulder enthusiastically and asked, "I didn't expect you to get out of prison so soon. Isn't it 7 days of detention?" "Out of prison? What the hell are you talking about, bastard? Why didn't this guy put a zipper on his mouth? Why didn't he seal it immediately?" Gao Maru and Yang Wei's faces immediately turned black and they stared at the shameless bastard. This guy is really touching the pot. Who says that they are out of prison as soon as they meet? They are students, not criminals. Isn't this clearly attracting the attention of other students? Originally, they wanted to cover up this matter in a low-key manner, comfortably, and safely spend the remaining months. Now that this bastard mentioned it, the plan was all ruined. Sure enough, when they heard the word, "out of prison," the students around them looked over curiously. Out of prison? What the hell is going on? Is someone in our school in prison? A student in the next class asked curiously, and Xia Ping's words immediately ignited his gossip mentality. "You don't know this. The 2 people are called Gao Wan and Yang Wei. They are students in class 36. A few days ago, he was taken away by a dozen police officers for running around naked in school. He was detained for 7 days. Holy shit, he actually dares to run around naked in school. How amazing, how can he do such a thing? I heard that the 2 of them are perverts. They've been planning this for a few years. They took advantage of the fact that they're about to graduate from high school to do this. They want to leave their names in the school's history. He has indeed left his name in history. There aren't many people in the school who don't know him. Amazing. I think not only are they perverts, but their names are also very perverted. They live up to their names." A group of students whispered and looked at Yang Wei and Gao Wan with very strange eyes. I knew that it was not a good thing to meet this bastard. Hearing the discussion of the students around, Gao Wan and Yang Wei both cried. Their reputation in the school was completely ruined. "By the way, are you guys alright in the detention center? I heard that there are a lot of animals and gays there." Xia Ping asked curiously, "Are you guys really alright after staying there for 7 days? You weren't hit when you were bathing, right? Gays?" When they heard this word, a group of students got a chicken blood. Holy shit, there is gossip in it. Xia Ping reminded them that the detention center is not a good place. That place is full of criminals, all of them are fierce men, and there is no shortage of gays. 2 fresh white flowers go into the detention center. Isn't that sheep entering the tiger's mouth? I hit your sister, we have nothing to do. Xia Ping, you bastard, don't spread rumors here. Gao Wan said with grief and indignation, his face was green, and he could not wait to tear the bastard's big mouth. No one thought of this kind of thing just now. It was this big mouth, deliberately shouting, letting the students around think that way. If this rumor spreads, can they still mix in the school? Yang Wei also glared at Xia Ping. If he didn't estimate that he couldn't beat this bastard, he would have rushed up and beaten this shameless guy. Damn, they were detained by the police for 7 days. They stayed in the detention center. It was like a year. They were surrounded by a group of strong men. They almost couldn't protect their chrysanthemums. They have never experienced this kind of thing in their lives. Because of this, Yang Wei and Gao Wan, who had a little estrangement, have now become brothers. Oh, I'm wrong. It's my fault. I shouldn't ask you these sad things. You really have nothing to do with it. Xia Ping showed a look that he knew everything and gave them a reassuring look. It seemed that he would never reveal this secret. Do you know? What the hell do you know? You don't know anything, so why are you acting like you know everything? Nothing happened to them at all. Originally, this was nothing, but if it was denied by Xia Ping, it would cause more suspicion. Both Gao Wan and Yang Wei were mad. Sad things? It seems that something really happened. Isn't it? That's the detention center. They were detained for 7 days and surrounded by a group of gays. It's hard to think that nothing happened. It's hard for this student to keep a secret for 2 people, but he doesn't know that this secret can't be kept. Everyone knows that these 2 people were detained in the detention center for 7 days, that's 7 days. What the hell, this time has a lot of room for imagination. I think it's completely possible to write a novel and make a movie with a box office of more than 100 million. No wonder I just saw these 2 people look exhausted. It turns out that they are exhausted. They deserve it. This is the end of the pervert. Let's see who dares to run naked in school. If you want to leave your name in history, there is a price. The 2 seniors are a lesson. A group of students sighed again and again. Looking at Gao Wan and Yang Wei, they felt that their faces seemed to have been destroyed by someone. They felt that a lot of tragic stories must have happened in the past 7 days. Xia Ping, I'm not finished with you. Gao Wan and Yang Wei sighed at the sky, and their faces were almost green. They decided that if they didn't fight with this bastard, they would go to prison for 7 days in vain. Hey, isn't this Xiong Badian? Discharged so soon. Are your injuries all healed? Chapter 36. This god of plague. Hearing this voice, Xiong Beishan's face was black. He wanted to leave this place quickly to avoid this shameless bastard, but he didn't expect to be discovered by this guy. And he was stopped on the spot. How can he go? Both Gao Wan and Yang Wei planned to go crazy, but when they saw Xiong Batian also appearing in this place, they were also stunned. Xia Ping, the bastard, was so bold that he even wanted to provoke Xiong Batian. Didn't you say that your injury would take at least a month to get better? Which hospital did you go to for treatment? Xia Ping asked curiously, looking up and down at Xiong Batian. According to normal practice, Xiong Beishan's flash will take at least a month to get better, but now it has only been a week, and Xiong Batian is full of vitality. Obviously, it is not an ordinary treatment. This bastard is a madman. It is clear that this guy sent Xiong Batian to the hospital. He even dares to ask where the other party went to cure him. It is clear that he wants to poke other people's sore spots and expose Xiong Beishan's scars. This guy is not afraid of Xiong Beishan's anger. Both Gao Wan and Yang Wei were stunned. Seeing that Xia Ping was so fierce, they didn't know why the anger in their hearts had disappeared by more than half. It has nothing to do with you. Xiong Batian gritted his teeth. Xia Ping said with a smile, I heard that you are also participating in the fighting competition on behalf of the class this time. You'd better be careful. If you accidentally meet me, if I don't know the weight, you will have to go to the hospital again. I'll go. A group of students were shocked. This bastard is invincible. The so-called don't expose people's shortcomings, don't hit people's faces. This guy is clearly looking for people's feet, too much hatred. Sure enough, Xiong Baishan's face was red and he wanted to get angry, but he still endured it. If he fought here, he was afraid that it would destroy the competition venue and he would definitely be severely punished. He gritted his teeth and said, "Well, I'll wait for you to send me to the hospital." After that, Xiong Batian turned around and left. His face was so blue that it was obvious that he was on the verge of breaking out. This bastard is simply the best. He is a devil. Is he afraid that others don't hate him enough? Yang Wei was dumbfounded. That's the school's little overlord Xiong Batian. He dared to offend him so much. This guy is definitely a lunatic. We shouldn't go against a lunatic. He's too crazy. Gao Wan's face twitched. He felt that according to this kid's character, he would be killed sooner or later. Maybe he didn't even need to do anything. He actually endured it. Xia Ping was very surprised. He didn't expect that after going to the hospital once, Xiong Batian had changed so much. In the face of his ridicule, Xiong Batian could actually hold back and not make a move. Originally, he wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to gain aggro, but it seemed that he could only think of other ways. At this time, the homeroom teacher, Zhou Xue, walked over and said, "Line up immediately, the assembly is about to begin." She waved her hand and asked the students standing around to line up. After listening, Xia Ping and the others lined up according to their student numbers. Not long after, the school's fighting competition began. One by one, the school leaders sat on the stage and gave a speech. Then, the principal gave a speech. However, everyone's speech ended in 1 minute, so it didn't take too long. Finally, let's welcome the student representative, Jiang Yaru, to give a speech. The host on the stage loudly announced. After speaking, Jiang Yaru walked out from behind the stage and stood at the very front. Her appearance immediately caused the entire school to cheer. "Too beautiful, this is our school's goddess, Jiang Yaru. She really lives up to her reputation. She has the looks, the temperament, and the figure. If I could marry a woman like this, it would be like smoke rising from my ancestors' graves. I don't know how lucky I am. Stop dreaming, she already has a boyfriend, and I heard that she's pregnant. Holy shit, this can't be true, right? Who is her boyfriend? I'll go kill him immediately. I heard that he's her classmate, and the two are childhood sweethearts. In the end, he was succeeded by that beast. I heard that her boyfriend is simply a scumbag. He has a foot on more than a dozen boats, and it seems that he also has women in other schools. Jiang Yaru is just one of them, and there are even a few who are pregnant and discussing whether or not to abort. Beast, her boyfriend is worse than a beast. Not only is he not satisfied with picking up the goddess, he actually has a foot on more than a dozen boats, and he even wants high school girls to abort. Just how did he do it? Are those women blind? Yeah, I heard that guy's background is ordinary, middle class, and his father is only a city enforcement officer. His looks aren't outstanding, and his grades are also very ordinary. I just can't understand it no matter how much I think about it. Of course you can't understand it. If you really understood it, then you'd be a Casanova. To tell you the truth, this kind of man is the most dangerous. He looks ordinary, and extremely ordinary, as if he's harmless to humans and animals. This kind of appearance will make those beautiful women lower their guard, and they'll think that he definitely won't have a change of heart, so they'll be captured. Little do they know that this kind of man is the most dangerous. That makes a lot of sense. Although handsome men have a lot of advantages, when women see a handsome man, they can't help but think that he's a playboy, and subconsciously put him on their blacklist. From this perspective, handsome men are actually disadvantageous. Holy shit, if you put it like that, then even an ordinary man like me has a chance. Ahem, about that, a man with a chin as big as yours does have a little bit of a chance. Don't talk nonsense, just who is Jiang Yaru's boyfriend? I think he's called Xia Ping, the one who defeated Xiong Badian. So it's that bastard. I found someone to ambush him after school. Many students were discussing animatedly, all full of resentment towards Xia Ping. Some even wanted this scum to disappear completely. A goddess like Jiang Yaru couldn't be tarnished by a beast like that. Xia Ping, who was standing in the middle of the class, suddenly heard the system's continuous prompts. Detected that there are people nearby who have negative emotions towards the host, some even have killing intent. Hatred +1, hatred +1, what the hell is going on? I didn't do anything, how can I provoke hatred? Xia Ping's face was gloomy. This kind of situation was too strange. It was completely an unexpected disaster. That's right, Jiang Yaru, the reason should be her. Xia Ping suddenly remembered what happened a few days ago. His and Jiang Yaru's scandal was flying everywhere, causing many people to hate him. Sure enough, talking is already outdated. Picking up girls is the best way to attract hatred. Xia Ping rubbed his chin. It seemed that his chance to get a lot of hatred was on Jiang Yaru. A few minutes later, Jiang Yaru finished her speech, and then the host announced the official start of the school's fighting competition. With a ding, Xia Ping's phone suddenly received a message from the school. It was about today's fighting competition, the schedule of the matches between the contestants. What? The first match, Xia Ping vs Zhou Tai-en. Chapter 37. In the first game, I will fight Zhou Tai-en. When Xia Ping saw the schedule, his pupils also shrank. He felt that he would fight Zhou Tai-en sooner or later, but he did not expect that the opponent in the first game was him. It should be known that the schedule of this school fighting competition is modeled on the system of Tianshui City High School fighting competition, adopting an elimination system, one game to determine the winner. There are 27 classes in the third grade of the whole school. Each class selects 10 people to compete. More than a dozen of them chose to withdraw from the competition because of accidents and did not participate. As a result, there are exactly 256 people this time. The first game is the fight between these 256 people. If you win, you will advance, then 128, 64, 32, 16, top 8, top 4, and finally the champion. If you can win in the end, you need to play 8 games. However, among more than 200 contestants randomly selected, he happened to be fighting Zhou Tai-en in the first game, which could not be more coincidental. Xia Ping is fighting Zhou Tai-en in the first game. It's really unlucky that he's out before he starts. It doesn't matter if he's out, but do you remember what happened last Friday? Zhou Tai-en clearly wants to teach Xia Ping a lesson. This is a rare opportunity. Xia Ping is miserable. Isn't it? As soon as he goes up to the ring, I'm afraid he will be seriously injured and sent to the hospital for emergency treatment. Although there is a referee who can stop it in time, it's enough to delay it for a second. The power of one punch is enough to cripple Xia Ping. It's not like this hasn't happened before. But it's a coincidence that Xia Ping is fighting Zhou Tai-en in the first game. It's not a coincidence. It's said that Zhou Tai-en also has a relationship in the school. It's estimated that he went through the back door and asked the teacher who manages the background data to modify it a little. It's normal for such a result to occur. Indeed, it's just to change the order of the duel, and it's still a school competition. It's not difficult. The students of class 12 of senior high school were all talking and looking at Xia Ping with pity, thinking that this kid offended Zhou Tai-en and was extremely unlucky. He deserves it, this bastard deserves it. Gao Maru and Yang Wei looked at each other and saw the joy in the depths of each other's eyes. Finally, someone took action to clean up this shameless Xia Ping. This is God's eyes. God knows how badly they were bullied by Xia Ping. They were all sent to prison. Their reputation was worse than dog shit. When they came to school this morning, they were even thrown eggs by the roadside aunties. Encountering such a nightmare, one could imagine how much they hated Xia Ping, this shameless bastard. Even in their dreams, they wanted this guy to suffer misfortune and taste the humiliation they had suffered. Now, being stared at by Zhou Tai and, the king of the school, Xia Ping will lose a layer of skin if he doesn't die this time. Both Gao Wan and Yang Wei are extremely comfortable. They had already thought about it. Once Xia Ping was sent to the hospital, they would pretend to visit this guy. They would mock and ridicule him face to face. They would even throw dog shit at him and let him see how powerful they were. Rumble at the moment when the school announced the start of the fighting competition, a huge silver box was immediately transported in by a black heavy truck around the stadium and placed on the ground. With a few clicks, a staff member next to him pressed a button. The huge silver box changed like a transformer and immediately changed into a small ring 10 meters long and 10 meters wide. Next to this small metal ring, there are even auditoriums, which are enough to accommodate 200 or 300 spectators, and high-definition cameras are installed all around. Even if there is no way to go in and watch the scene, you can see the image inside through this high-definition camera in all directions and 360 degrees. The technology is extremely advanced. There are a total of 126 such small metal rings, which are rented from other companies by the school for today's competition. They are densely spread around the school stadium. Because the school stadium is large, these rings can easily accommodate. In just half an hour, the entire venue was set up by the staff. This is the power of technology, which does not require much manpower and material resources. Please enter the ring immediately. The game will start in 15 minutes. If you miss the game time, it will be regarded as automatic surrender. The sweet voice of the announcer came from the school radio. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Hearing this, the students on the playground, as well as the contestants, all began to move and walk towards their rings. Each ring on it has its own logo, which is easy to find. I seem to be in the 88th ring. That's an auspicious number. Xia Ping looked at the game information and walked towards the 88th ring at will. He immediately found that there were too many students gathered in the 88th ring. Not only were there students from class 12, but there were also students from other classes, and even a large number of girls. They surrounded the arena. There were 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. They were densely packed, and they were chattering loudly. However, there were only 2 or 3 kittens watching the other arenas. It seemed very miserable. It seems that most of the audience has been attracted to this place. There is no way around it. Who told the person participating in the competition to be called Zhou Tai, and the other side is the schoolboy of 95th High School, liked by countless little girls, equivalent to a campus idol, popular. Not to mention there is also Xia Ping, Jiang Yaru's rumored boyfriend. This time is simply a battle between rivals in love. Whether it is the topic or the degree of excitement, it is not comparable to other competitions. Many students want to see what is so great about this legendary scumbag who made the school flower pregnant, stepped on more than a dozen boats, and started playing with women at the age of 9. He's here, Zhou Tai, and is here. A girl screamed, and immediately caused many girls to cheer. A young man in a white suit walked over from afar. He looked elegant and handsome, and his hair was waxed. He looked very elegant, like a prince on a white horse. This person is Zhou Tai, and behind him are dozens of followers. Compared with ordinary students, he is simply a crane in a flock of chickens, incomparably dazzling. Get out of the way. Zhou Tai said coldly to the group of spectators in front of him. With a crash, the surrounding crowd was like an army, immediately opening a path for him to enter the ring. The surrounding students are even more impressed. As expected of the existence of the school's king, this domineering is not something ordinary students can compare with, and many little girls are screaming again and again. With a bang, Zhou Tai jumped lightly, the whole ground shook, and 2 clearly visible footprints appeared. The cement ground crackled, and more than a dozen cracks appeared. At the same time, a terrible jumping force was produced, and he jumped more than a dozen meters high in an instant. Chapter 38. So strong, really too strong. Is this a master of the sixth heaven of martial disciple? With a casual jump, he can jump more than 10 meters, and a casual punch has a huge force of 1,000 pounds. It's too terrifying. A group of students were shocked. Just this move alone had surpassed many students. They, ordinary people, and such a genius, simply couldn't compare. The gap was too far. Just now, he told us to get out of the way, not because he was worried that we would hinder him from entering the arena, but because he was afraid that we would block in front of him and be hurt by the wind from his jump. He's too gentle. A girl said, infatuated. Oh my God, he's so careful, too manly. That's the power of a boyfriend. Such a man is the real school hunk. Sure enough, Zhou Tai and is the star of our school. I've already fallen in love with him. Seeing his masculine appearance, I can't sleep at night. I almost got hard. Many students shouted one after another. They were all stunned by Zhou Tai's move. He was worthy of being the top master of the school. He was not comparable to those seductive sluts outside. At this time, Xia Ping walked along the path that the crowd had separated, with his hands behind his back, and walked over lazily. He was immediately seen by the students around him. What the hell is wrong with this person? Does he know shame? He actually took advantage of this time to sneak into the audience seats. He doesn't even know the rules. A student said discontentedly. He was half dead with anger. He thought that Xia Ping was the kind of person who wanted to take advantage of the gap to occupy the audience seats around the ring. After all, there were too many people here to watch, and it was very difficult to find a place. So the first to go in had a place. If the place was taken, you could only stand outside and use the live video software on your phone to watch live. Of course, this feeling was completely different from watching live. Another student immediately said, he's not an audience member, but Zhou Tai's opponent, Xia Ping. What? This kid is Xia Ping? A group of students looked over curiously because this was Jiang Yaru's rumored boyfriend and Zhou Tai's rival in love. It was said that in order to deal with this guy, they had specially relied on the school's relationship to change the order of the competition. The purpose was to teach this Xia Ping a profound lesson. For such a legendary figure, the students present were all curious. It looks like this guy is ordinary, his footsteps are exaggerated, and his martial arts foundation is not solid at all. He's not a great person at all. Such a person is also Zhou Tai's opponent. You must be joking. Of course not. The reason why Zhou Tai came to deal with him was to warn him. What kind of person is Jiang Yaru? He's not someone this brat can touch. Therefore, Big Brother Zhou only has one goal in mind, and that is to fight. Beat him until he can't even take care of himself, and he won't dare to appear in front of Jiang Yaru ever again. Tisk tsk, poor guy. He could have offended anyone, but he actually dared to offend Zhou Tai. I reckon Big Brother Zhou has another goal in mind, and that is to kill the chicken to scare the monkey. He's using this opportunity to warn others that this brat is just a target. After today, I may never see this Xia Ping again. Many students looked pitifully at Xia Ping, who walked step by step to the ring. They didn't think that Xia Ping had any chance of winning. After all, what kind of character is Zhou Tai? He is the existence of the king of the school. The strength of the sixth heaven of the martial artist is at least in the top 10 of the school. How can an ordinary student be his opponent? Even if this brat is lucky enough to get the school bell's favor and use flowery words to win the school bell's heart, strength is strength. There is no room for falsehood. Once on the ring, this Xia Ping would probably be crippled by Zhou Tai with one punch. At this time, Xia Ping walked up the stairs step by step. His movements were ordinary and unremarkable. Just like this, he came up to the ring and stood in front of Zhou Tai and the two were separated by 5 or 6 meters, facing each other from a distance. Zhou Tai unfolded his hands and looked at Xia Ping coldly. I didn't expect you to really dare to come up to the ring. You didn't run away with your tail between your legs. You have some courage. But don't think that I will be lenient. I said before that I will definitely teach you a lesson. I will let you see the gap between geniuses and mortals, and let you realize that there is an insurmountable gap between us. There are many things in this world that are not something a mortal like you can touch. In a moment, you will grit your teeth and close your eyes. This way, you will be able to reduce the damage to your body. Otherwise, in an instant, all the bones in your body will be broken by me. Between his words, there was a thick murderous aura, which made people shudder. Xiong Batian talked to me like this before. As a result, he was crippled by me with one punch and was carried away by the teachers and students. He was unconscious and lay in the hospital for a week. Xia Ping said lightly. What is Xiong Batian? Is he worthy of comparing with me, Zhou Tai En? Zhou Tai En sneered, I, Zhou Tai En, have opened up 6 meridians. I am a powerhouse of the 6th heaven of the martial artist. I have practiced the intermediate martial art Wuyue fist to the perfect realm. My strength can at least be ranked in the top 10 in the school. What is Xiong Batian? He is just a reckless man with a little strength. I didn't deal with him before because he didn't pose a threat, so I let him run amok in the school. A mortal like you, your vision is too small. How can you know how big the world of martial arts is? I had the honor of worshipping a strong martial artist 3 years ago and joined the Wuwei Boxing Hall and listened to his guidance. I fought with many fellow apprentices in the boxing hall, honed my boxing skills, and even went out to the wild with my master to practice, kill monsters, be injured, and see blood, so I reached the 6th heaven of the martial artist so quickly. A greenhouse flower like you, not to mention the realm of the 4th heaven of the martial artist, even if you reach the realm of the 6th heaven of the martial artist and your strength is the same as mine? In a life and death fight, I will kill you as easily as stepping on an ant. With each sentence, he displayed his unparalleled confidence, completely crushing Xia Ping. Referee. Speaking of this, Zhou Tai En turned to the referee next to him and said, announce the start of the game. I don't want to waste so much time. I have more important things to do with this waste. Do you understand? Well, the game starts. The referee teacher also nodded and immediately announced the start of the game. Boy, feel it well. This is absolute power. If you dare to attack my Zhou Tai En's things, you must have the awareness of death. Feel this well with your body. This is something that the school teachers can't teach. As soon as the voice fell, Zhou Tai En made a move. With a bang, he stomped his feet violently, and the momentum of his whole body skyrocketed, like an insurmountable mountain, full of thick and solid aura, overbearing and unparalleled. Chapter 39. A punch was coming. Zhou Tai En's fist burst out with a terrifying force, and it directly produced an air explosion in the air. The energy shot in all directions, like Mount Tai pressing down. This kind of power is much stronger than Xiong Batian's. Even the students under the ring can feel the gravity of this punch. There is no place to hide, and the terrifying fist energy is all over the ring. It's terrible. This is Brother Zhou's 5-mountain fist. With a punch, even a buffalo will be beaten into meat sauce and torn to death. A student admired. I heard that Xiong Batian is born with divine power and is extremely fierce, but compared with Brother Zhou, he is not even a fart. This kid is finished. Just this punch is enough to shock his soul and scare him so much that he can't move. Someone shook his head and looked at Xia Ping with pity. He still wants to fight with Brother Zhou. He really doesn't know how to write the word death. It is estimated that after this time, he will never dare to learn martial arts again. This is the gap between geniuses and mortals. Many students looked at Xiaoping with a sneer. No one thought that Xiaoping had any hope of winning. The only outcome was to be sent to the hospital and how long it would take for him to come out. Zhou Tai, and you really disappoint me. You don't know what martial arts is. Xiaoping sighed. His spiritual force spread over a radius of 20 meters and he understood Zhou Tai's every move. Although in the eyes of others, Zhou Tai's attack is perfect and terrifying, under the exploration of his spiritual force, there are simply countless flaws, like a child. In fact, it is not Zhou Tai's fault. It is really that Xiaoping has become much stronger than before. After the trip to Black Moon City, his strength has increased rapidly. He has seen blood, killed people, and his martial arts skills have reached a superb level. He has also cultivated the spiritual force that only the martial artist realm has. All these are not comparable to ordinary students. Boom! Dragon Fist of 5 Forms Fist, Divine Dragon goes to sea. Xiaoping clenched his fist and punched out. In an instant, it seemed that the whole space was filled with the roar of the Divine Dragon. The airflow seemed to condense into the embryonic form of the dragon, exuding supreme majesty and shocking the soul. The students around the ring all felt their blood surging, deafening, their hearts beating fiercely, and the air produced visible ripples. They were almost stunned by this void roar. What is this? Zhou Tai's face changed greatly. He only felt that Xiaoping's punch was terrifying. It just hit the flaw of his Wuyue fist, leaving him almost no way to defend. It was even to the extent that the might of this fist was terrifying to the extreme. It was like the roar of a divine dragon as it looked down from above and intimidated all the clans in the world. It was simply powerful to the point of making one's hair stand on end, and it was utterly impossible to resist. With a boom, Zhou Tai couldn't block it at all. His chest was hit by this punch. It was really like a meteorite smashing into the ground, erupting with a tremendous force like a flood. Ah! He couldn't help but let out a blood-curdling scream and spit out a mouthful of blood. 3 or 4 of his ribs were broken, and his body flew out like a ball. But just as Zhou Tai's body was flying in the air, Xiaoping suddenly jumped up. He transformed into a white crane, producing a powerful jumping force. In an instant, he leaped into the air and fiercely stomped on Zhou Tai's chest with a tremendous force. With a bang, it was really like a thunder on the ground. Zhou Tai's body smashed down from the sky and immediately smashed a human-shaped pit in the ring built of titanium alloy metal. Immediately, there was a huge vibration in the entire ring. Many people were directly shaken out of their chairs, and the titanium alloy ring also showed cracks, and even divided the ring into 2 halves, making a cracking sound. Is this 5 Forms Fist? A group of students stared out of their eyes and were scared half to death. They had also learned 5 Forms Fist, but it was just an ordinary boxing technique, but they never thought that 5 Forms Fist had such unparalleled power. It's just a punch, but it's like a meteorite smashing the ground, the dragon roaring, Mount Tai collapsing, easily smashing Zhou Tai's defense and beating him into a dead dog. Is this still something that humans can resist? Both Yang Wei and Gao Wan were scared. When did Xiaoping become so abnormal? It seems that he is more than several times more terrifying than a week ago. The whole person is like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's terrible. The classmates of Class 12 also dropped their glasses. This is not the Xiaoping they know at all. This is already a real martial arts master, with the prototype of the martial arts Grand Master. The referee teacher was also dumbstruck. How could he have imagined that a mere student would actually be able to grasp such a terrifying martial skill? Even the arena was destroyed by it. You. Zhou Tai struggled. He looked at Xiaoping in shock as if he had seen this man for the first time. There was severe pain in his body. More than a dozen ribs were broken, and his lungs were severely damaged. He couldn't believe this fact at all. He was a strong man in the 6th heaven of the martial disciple realm. How could the other party defeat him with a punch? What was that power just now? You are not a martial artist in the fourth heaven. Have you been promoted to the fifth heaven of the martial disciple realm? Zhou Tai and stared at Xia Ping, his eyes were bloodshot, and he clenched his fists. I said, you don't know what martial arts is at all. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back. You have a master in the martial artist realm, you have cultivated to the sixth heaven of the martial disciple realm, you have gone out to kill monsters outside the city, you have seen blood, you have some combat experience, you are very strong. Just this is complacent, you Zhou Tai, and is just a frog at the bottom of the well. This world is much bigger than you can imagine. Hearing Xia Ping's condescending words, Zhou Tai and was almost mad. These words were what he had said to Xia Ping before, but he didn't expect to be returned. This is clearly a slap in his face and a complete humiliation of himself. If he can easily defeat Xia Ping, then this is nothing, but now he is defeated by Xia Ping, who he despises. Doesn't it mean that everything he has done is useless, and he is simply a waste? What he said was bullshit. If so, what position does he have to teach Xia Ping? What qualification does he have to despise Xia Ping? Xia Ping, go to hell. Zhou Tai An's face was distorted, and the true qi in his body boiled like crazy. With a bang, he rushed over, like a tiger, desperate. Even if it's a desperate old life, he will tear this Xia Ping apart. It's too ugly, get out. Xia Ping slammed his palm, penetrating all of Zhou Tai An's movements. He shot as fast as lightning, and at the same time contained a terrifying power. The void shook, and the palm slapped on Zhou Tai An's face. Chapter 40. With a snap, Zhou Tai An fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth, his eyes were white, and his face was red and swollen like a pig's head. He was no longer as handsome as before. At this time, he couldn't move, and his whole body was full of severe pain. Zhou Tai An, are you convinced? Xia Ping condescendingly looked down at him like this. Ah, I don't accept it, I don't accept it. Zhou Tai An yelled in grief and indignation. He wanted to attack Xia Ping, but he couldn't even lift a finger. Shame, this is simply a great shame. He is Zhou Tai An, a strong man in the sixth heaven of martial arts, known as the king of the school, with dozens of younger brothers and many admirers. He was defeated by a bastard he despised with one punch, and even humiliated like this, and even his face was swollen. How can he stand such a result? How can he stand it? Seeing Zhou Tai An so sad and indignant, the audience around him also felt the same and felt a little sympathetic. It's too much, even if you win, you still humiliate Zhou Tai An like this? That's right, this Xia Ping's character is too bad, he is simply a bitch. Isn't it? Everyone is in the same school anyway, and he actually did such a thing. He won, and he still asked people if they were convinced. This is clearly sprinkling salt on people's wounds. Many students were talking and staring at Xia Ping angrily, thinking that he had done too much. Noisy. Xia Ping stood on the ring, stood with his hands behind his back, and glanced at the audience around him faintly. If you don't want to come up and fight, I can even let you use one hand. He was sneering in his heart. Zhou Tai An was allowed to humiliate him, and he was not allowed to humiliate Zhou Tai An. Why? Is it because he is a top student, because he is handsome, and because his family background is superior, so Xia Ping deserves to be humiliated? It's just a joke. If you have the courage to provoke him, you have to bear the corresponding consequences. This. The students around were afraid to speak. They all felt the terrifying momentum emanating from Xia Ping, like a tiger, choosing people to eat, extremely terrifying. Even Zhou Tai An, a powerhouse of the sixth heaven of the martial artist, couldn't stop this man's punch. Like a fly, Zhou Tai An was slapped, and even the titanium alloy metal ring had cracks. How terrifying this was. If ordinary students like them were to go up, a single breath from the other party would be enough to seriously injure them. Going up would be courting death, so no one dared to go up. Everyone was silent, not daring to speak. Did I Does anyone dare to fight me? Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and scanned the audience around him. His voice was filled with supreme dignity. It's you, or it's you. He immediately pointed at the 3 students who had shouted the loudest just now. At the same time, his mental strength ruthlessly crushed over. This frightening mental strength enveloped the 3 students. Immediately, the 3 students felt an extremely frightening blood chi. It was as if a ferocious tiger had rushed over and wanted to bite off their necks. The illusion was extremely realistic. They were just ordinary students, flowers in a greenhouse. How could they have seen such a terrifying scene? All of a sudden, they were so scared that even their Dao hearts collapsed. No, 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 not me, not me. Spare me, spare me. The 3 students screamed desperately. Their faces were pale and terrified to the extreme. They were so scared that they retreated again and again. Their bodies were trembling and their pants were wet. They fell into their seats and didn't dare to move. Scared to the point of peeing. The surrounding audience was dumbfounded. Just being stared at by Xia Ping could scare them to such an extent. How terrifying was this guy? Was he still human? The surrounding students trembled violently. They looked at Xia Ping's eyes and couldn't help but reveal a look of fear. Cowardly bandits. Xia Ping looked at the group of students indifferently. You dare to challenge me with just this little ability? You can scream loudly when you want to sleep, but you can't do it with real guns and live ammunition. Fuck, this shameless Xia Ping is too filthy. The group of students was so angry that their faces turned green and their bodies trembled. They had never seen someone humiliate someone in public like this. It was simply despicable to the extreme. This person was simply scum and scum. This is too infuriating. This Xia Ping is really a scumbag. This kind of person will be struck by lightning sooner or later. Let's wait and see. It's not a big deal to win. This bastard's character is not good. Is there anyone to clean up this campus bully? It's too hateful. In front of so many people, he openly flirted with so many good women. A good woman is a man. This Xia Ping is definitely a beast. When school is over, everyone will go and knock him with a stick. Many students were so angry that their nostrils were smoking. They wanted to go up and teach Xia Ping a lesson, but after weighing their own strength, they didn't dare to move and could only give up. But they were all cursing Xia Ping in private, and they wanted to bite this bastard to death. Both Gao Maru and Yang Wei were stunned. Damn it, this guy is simply a guy who is hated by others. It's estimated that he didn't deliberately target them before. It's entirely because this bastard's character is too bad that this happened. The students of class 12 of high school also twitched their mouths. They also saw Xia Ping's ability to provoke hatred. From a certain perspective, this guy is definitely a genius. Cough, alright, don't quarrel. Seeing that the situation was not good, the referee immediately coughed a few times and announced the result of the game. Now that Zhou Tai and is no longer able to fight, I announce that the winner is Xia Ping. No, I can still fight, I can still fight, I didn't lose at all. Zhou Tai and shouted, very unwilling, he would not admit that he lost to Xia Ping. It's noisy. With a bang, Xia Ping made a move and slapped Zhou Tai and unconscious. After doing all this, he clapped his hands and was very satisfied. Now it's okay, this guy won't continue to quarrel. The referee teacher was speechless. He couldn't blame Xia Ping for this. After all, if he didn't stun Zhou Tai and, it was estimated that this kid would still yell here and continue to toss. Shameless, this Xia Ping is too shameless, how can he knock out brother Zhou? This is clearly a personal revenge in public. While brother Zhou can't move, give him a shot. This is revenge. This is clearly revenge. What a shameless bastard, taking advantage of others' difficulties. It's too hateful, this guy will get his retribution sooner or later. A group of students cursed Xia Ping viciously. They were so infuriated by Xia Ping's actions that they fainted. They had never seen such a bastard. He actually attacked a person who couldn't move. He was so bad that he was oozing pus. A few people come here and move Zhou Tai and away. The referee teacher ordered. Whiz whiz whiz. Soon, several students came up from below and quickly carried away the unconscious Zhou Tai and. After a few beeps, Xia Ping heard the system prompt in his mind, hatred value +1, hatred value +1. Chapter 41. And the news that Zhou Tai and was defeated by Xia Ping quickly spread throughout the school. A big upset, Zhou Tai and was defeated. No, really, isn't Zhou Tai and a favorite to win the championship this time? How could he be defeated? The person who defeated him is that scumbag Xia Ping. What the hell, isn't that guy only a martial artist at the fourth heaven layer? How could he defeat Zhou Tai and? This news is outdated. That kid has long been promoted to the fifth heaven of martial artists, and his strength is very strong. I also saw that game. Zhou Tai and was miserable. His face was swollen. If it was more serious, he would probably have to go to plastic surgery to restore his original appearance. It is said that the guy is despicable and shameless. Even if Zhou Tai and had no power to fight back, he beat him, humiliated him, and spat on him. If the teacher didn't stop him in time, he would have kicked his vital points. What a beast! How could he attack someone who couldn't even fight back? Is he a demon? Many students were talking about it, and they were all shocked by the news. In an instant, it swept the whole school, and almost everyone knew about it. There is no way, Zhou Tai and's reputation is too great. He can be called the Prince Charming of 95th High School. He is also the king of the school, an idol-like existence, and a hot favorite to win the championship this time. But now he was actually defeated by a nobody, and he was also severely humiliated in the ring. Such news was too sensational, and it was impossible for no one to not hear it. The whole arena was in a heated discussion, and the attention of other games was a lot less. Half an hour later, the second game began. This time, 128 people have been eliminated, the number of rings has been reduced by half, and the field is also half empty. This time, a group of people gathered on the 75th ring, because this game is a game between Xia Ping and another opponent, and everyone is curious about how strong Xia Ping is. That opponent is a bald head with muscles all over his body. He looks very tall and has the cultivation base of the fifth heaven of martial artists. Seeing so many people coming to watch his game, he felt a little flattered, and at the same time, his vanity was greatly satisfied. Baldy, kill that Xia Ping, don't let him be so arrogant. That's right, beat Xia Ping's face swollen, and in the end, his parents won't recognize him. Baldy, I support you. You must defeat him. That Xia Ping is simply a beast. Baldy, if you don't defeat him, are you still human? A group of students desperately supported the bald student. They were angrier than Xia Ping just now. That kid was simply a devil, despicable, shameless, and lawless. Such a shameless person, how could anyone support him? Therefore, they all hoped that someone could teach Xia Ping a lesson and help them vent their anger. Hearing these reinforcements, the bald student was extremely proud. When had he ever been so popular? This kind of support, this kind of cheering, he was simply like a great hero. He stared at Xia Ping, clenched his fists, and said fiercely, Xia Ping, you. Before the bald student could speak, Xia Ping waved his hand and said, don't talk to me, and don't tell me your name. I'm not interested in you at all. Anyway, you're just trash that can be dealt with one punch. It's too time-consuming to remember your name. It's too much of a waste of brain capacity. Even Zhou Tai, a powerhouse in the sixth heaven of martial arts, was easily defeated by him. This opponent, who was only in the fifth heaven of martial arts, was even less of an opponent and could be solved with one punch. What did you say? The bald student's nose was crooked, and his head was almost smoking. He was so angry in his heart that his face turned red. In front of this kid, he was actually a small character who didn't even want to remember his name. Even if you look down on people, you should give me a limit. There was an uproar in the surrounding audience. Although they knew that Xia Ping was extremely arrogant, they did not expect him to be arrogant to this extent, and he was already arrogant. He didn't even bother to remember other people's names, he looked down on people too much. Xia Ping, you said you can solve me with one punch, are you kidding me? The bald student was driven mad with rage. This time, I'll definitely defeat you and break all your limbs. I'll show you how powerful I am. With a bang, the referee announced the start. He rushed up like a hungry wolf, his momentum fierce, his hands like wolf claws, tearing the air, at the same time his feet vibrated, and his figure flickered. He is proficient in the intermediate martial arts Hungry Wolf 18 styles. Each style is a killing move, with terrifying power, and the movement is fast and strange. When cultivated to a high realm, a claw can tear up a mountain. Whiz whiz whiz. In an instant, on the entire ring, there were 5 or 6 afterimages of bald students. Each afterimage was like a hungry wolf, exuding a fierce momentum. Although it was only one person, he exerted the power of a pack of wolves, enough to tear up all prey. But this speed, in front of the heaven and earth audio-visual great technique, is simply a child. The speed he is proud of is as slow as a baby in Xia Ping's eyes. Dong! Xia Ping was expressionless, just a punch, light as heavy, silent, penetrated countless hungry wolf phantoms, and hit the bald student's head so hard, thousands of pounds of huge force broke out, like a flood bursting the dam. Ah! The bald student's eyes revealed a look of horror, and he let out a shrill scream. His head was beaten out of shape, his nose was instantly broken, and his whole body flew out like a ball. With a bang, he flew 20 to 30 meters in the air, and finally smashed outside the ring, causing the surrounding audience to exclaim. Then, the bald student's neck tilted, and he fell unconscious on the spot. The surrounding students were completely silent. They were dumbstruck and couldn't shout anymore. He really defeated the bald student with a single punch. He didn't even last for a second. Although this kid is a little arrogant, his strength is not fake. I said long ago, this is trash that can be defeated with one punch. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, showing the appearance of a martial arts master, but you can't blame him. It's not that he is weak, it's that I am too strong. I probably can't find anyone in the whole school who can take one punch from me. Is this the feeling of invincibility? It's so lonely. There was a trace of loneliness exuding from his body, as if he was a martial arts master standing on the top of the mountain, as if he was invincible in the world, and he couldn't find an opponent. What the hell, this guy is fat, and he's really panting. He's just a guy in the 5th heaven of martial arts, and he dares to say that he is invincible. There are many people in this school who are stronger than him. Damn, I want to hit someone so much for the first time. Is there anyone who wants to go up and hit him? Hurry up and call the police. The scene is almost out of control. Chapter 42. But no matter how angry these students were, the opponents of the 3rd and 4th games were only students of the 5th heaven of the martial artist, and they were also defeated by Xia Ping with one punch, and they couldn't resist for even a second. In this way, Xia Ping directly entered the top 16. Didi at this time, the prompt voice of the system came, congratulations to the host, attracting a lot of hatred, this time you got 453 hatred points, I hope the host will keep up the good work. Xia Ping's eyes flashed, 453 hatred points. Plus the previous one, then I can now exchange for the first layer of the Dark North body protection technique? Yes, host, do you want to exchange it now? The system said. Xia Ping nodded, exchange it. He also wanted to try how magical this technique was. Rumble in an instant, a warm current came from his body, and a grand voice seemed to ring in his mind. There is a fish in the dark north, its name is Kuan. Kuan is so big, I don't know thousands of miles. Turn into a bird, its name is Peng. Peng's back, I don't know thousands of miles. Fly in anger, its wings are like clouds hanging in the sky. A sentence of the technique flowed in his mind, countless mysterious and profound groups integrated into his body, and immediately he seemed to instinctively master this cultivation technique of the Dark North Body Protection Technique. This is the Dark North Body Protection Technique? Xia Ping's eyes flashed, and he felt that when he ran this mysterious technique, the true energy in his body surged, and a thin layer of true energy shield seemed to appear on the surface of his body, like flowing water covering every corner of his body, emitting strange and wonderful fluctuations. Just this layer of true energy shield, he felt that the defensive power was extremely strong, and it seemed that even if the laser gun bombarded his body, it would be weakened a little. If it reaches a very high level, then even if it is bombed by a missile, it is estimated that it can be unscathed. However, what is the power of this technique? If I don't try it, I won't know. Xia Ping touched his chin. By the way, the next game is the top 16, why not try this technique? Half an hour later, the venue was tidied up, only 16 huge platforms appeared, and the other platforms were moved away. Now after a morning of duels, the top 16 of the school has been born. Xia Ping stood in the arena. His opponents were not like the small fries from before. Every single one of them who could enter the top 16 had the strength to be in the top 10 of the school. This time, his opponent's name was Tao Yang, a powerhouse of the sixth heaven of the martial artist. He cultivated the intermediate martial arts technique cloud-splitting palm. He was a martial arts powerhouse who was known to be no less than Zhou Tai and Tao Yun. I heard that your strength is not inferior to Zhou Tai and Xia Ping asked Tao Yun. Instantly, Tao Yun was a little overwhelmed by the favor. This guy never spoke to his opponents in the ring, and he always settled them with a single punch. He was so fierce that he was a complete mess. Now, he actually spoke to him, and even called out his name. He didn't know why, but he actually felt a little restless. He immediately shouted in panic, "What's wrong? What happened?" Yes, no less than Zhou Tai and. What do you think? I'm not the one who said it. Everyone said the same thing. Towards the end, he sounded a little weak, as if he was lacking in confidence. It can't be helped. This Xia Ping was too fierce. Even a strong man like Zhou Tai and was beaten like this. He was not the opponent of this kid's punch at all. It was said that Zhou Tai and had been sent to a nearby hospital for emergency treatment. 13 ribs were broken, and his lungs were severely damaged. He couldn't get out of bed for a month. Even if he had considerable confidence, with his own strength, he thought that he would not lose to Zhou Tai and, but in the face of this unreasonable Xia Ping, he still had no confidence. Seeing Tao Yun's small face, Xia Ping was also a little speechless. It looked like he was a big bad wolf bullying a little white rabbit. He waved his hand and said, "Don't be afraid, I won't bully you. It's like this. It's so boring to defeat the enemy with a single punch. I can't raise my interest at all. Well, I stand here and don't move. You come and hit me. As long as you can knock me out of the ring, you win." He said his decision. What? Tao Yun was dumbfounded, and he didn't understand what Xia Ping meant. What is this guy talking about? He actually said that he wanted him to beat him, and he still stood here motionless. Is this kid crazy? He didn't understand, but the audience around him all understood, and there was an uproar one by one. I'll go, Xia Ping wants to go against this guy. Standing here motionless and letting the opponent beat him, how arrogant does he want to be? He is only a martial artist in the 5th heavenly layer. Facing an opponent in the 6th heavenly layer, he dares to be so arrogant. Since he wants to die, I'll help him. Reckless guy, it seems that his head is in the paste. He really thinks he is a strong man in the martial artist realm. Stand here and don't move. It's estimated that he can beat this Xia Ping with one punch. Tao Yun, kill him, while his head is hot, this is a great opportunity. Defeating a fool, although it's an unfair victory, but this person is Xia Ping, who asked him to be beaten. Many students were in an uproar, all of them were furious. This kid looked down on people and played new tricks. Before, he defeated the enemy with one punch and humiliated the enemy. Now, he is too lazy to even move his fist and let the opponent beat him. The classmates of Class 12, including Gao Wan and Yang Wei, were also dumbfounded, thinking that this kid was crazy. Even if he was arrogant, there should be some limits. How much did he look down on people? Is what you said true? Tao Yun looked at Xia Ping with a little suspicion. Could this be a trap? Although he said that he was standing still, but in fact, he was waiting for him to attack, and he would attack himself instead. Xia Ping said impatiently, "Are you going to fight or not? If you don't fight, I will beat you and break your 5 ribs." He stared at Tao Yun ferociously. Intimidated. Tao Yun was scared half to death, his face was pale, and he nodded again and again, I'll fight, I'll fight." At this time, the referee announced the start. With a bang, Tao Yun immediately rushed up, slapped his palm, and displayed the first style of the cloud palm. The whole air surged, like flowing water, producing terrible power. And Xia Ping stood in the same place, standing with his hands behind his back, still motionless. "You really stand here and let me beat you?" Seeing this, Tao Yun was overjoyed. If this is the case, then he will definitely have a chance to win this time. After all, he is a strong man in the 6th heaven of the martial artist. How can he not win against a man in the 5th heaven of the martial artist who doesn't move? Since the other party needs a beating, then don't blame him. Boom. Chapter 43. What a powerful palm. A student was shocked. Tao Yun is estimated to have practiced this martial art to the perfect realm. In the past, it contains the ultimate power of yin and soft, and the destructive power is extremely terrifying. It is estimated that a slap on a rock half the height of a person can smash it into pieces. No wonder it is said that his martial arts strength is comparable to Zhou Tai and. This palm power is not a cover. Isn't it? Another tall student was also shocked and said in a serious tone. Although Tao Yun looks very weak, he is at least a powerhouse of the 6th heaven of martial arts. This power is not comparable to that of ordinary students. This Xia Ping is so arrogant, he must have suffered. If the two sides fight, Xia Ping still has a chance to win, but if he takes this palm head-on, even the powerhouse of the 7th heaven of martial arts will be seriously injured on the spot and carried down for treatment. This Xia Ping is dead. He has to go to the hospital for a few months with one palm. It's great. Finally, someone can teach this bully a lesson and avenge Big Brother Zhou. This is the eyes of God, let that kid's head into the paste. Many students were overjoyed and stared fiercely at Xia Ping on the ring. But in fact, Xia Ping had nothing to do with it. When Tao Yun slapped his body, it was immediately blocked by a layer of true energy shield on his body. This unique true energy shield constantly vibrates, weakening the power of Tao Yun's palm and passing it to every corner of Xia Ping's body, forming a strange vibration and tempering the body. Even that power was absorbed by Xia Ping, just like Kuan Peng absorbing water. Not only could this power not cause any harm to him, but it also greatly increased the power in his body. Amazing, is this the Dark North body protection art? It's too powerful. Xia Ping's eyes showed a glimmer of light, even if he knew from the system that this cultivation method was extremely powerful and was the supreme body protection cultivation method. But when he really saw the true power of this cultivation method, he was still surprised. After all, the power of Tao Yun's palm is not a cover. It is completely the peak attack of the 6th heaven of martial arts. Ordinary students have to retreat in the face of this palm. But now he is standing in the same place, motionless, and can easily resist this move. It can be imagined how strange this dark north body protection art is. You're okay. Tao Yun looked at Xia Ping standing in front of him a little dumbfounded. He couldn't believe his eyes at all. Even a powerhouse in the seventh heaven of martial arts would be seriously injured in the face of his palm. But what was going on with this kid? To think that he was still alive and standing in front of him, completely fine. The strangest thing was that he had an expression of enjoyment on his face. It was too scary. Keep going. Is this all you've got? Xia Ping stood in place with his hands behind his back. He didn't move at all and continued to look at Tao Yun with disdain. He also wanted to try the power of this dark north body protection technique again, but the power of one palm was not enough. Damn it, take this. Tao Yun's face was flushed red. He was infuriated. If he couldn't even defeat a person who was standing still and letting him hit him, wouldn't that mean that his decades of martial arts training had been in vain? A powerful aura immediately gushed out from his body. He took a firm horse stance and used the profound meaning of the pushing clouds palm, moon wears cloud cape, overturning clouds and overturning rain, toppling mountains and overturning seas. All three moves were used in a row. Bang bang bang. Each palm contains a terrifying force of 1,000 pounds, bombarding Xia Ping's body fiercely. This kind of power, even a rock will be smashed into powder. Ordinary students will be seriously injured and fall to the ground, and their lungs will be seriously injured. The surrounding audience could feel the strong winds that came from each of Tao Yun's palms. The might contained within them was definitely not fake. One palm strike was enough to kill a ferocious tiger. In the era of martial arts not prosperous 1,000 years ago, this was already the strength of the martial Dao master level. Not bad, not bad. Xia Ping stood in place, but he didn't move, feeling the feeling of every palm bombarding him. Although such power can seriously injure ordinary students, it is useless for him who has cultivated the dark north body protection technique. When this terrifying palm power bombarded his body, it was immediately transformed into a strange shock, tempering his body and constantly stimulating the potential of the body. He only felt a warm current in his body, and it seemed that the energy of the golden potion hidden in the depths of his body was finally completely stimulated, tempering his body and strengthening the true qi in his body. It would take at least a week to digest and absorb the energy, but under Tao Yun's attack, he absorbed it in a short time, and his body became stronger little by little. Sure enough, this dark north body protection technique is a supreme auxiliary cultivation technique. When I am beaten, it can enhance the efficiency of the body's absorption of energy, and even has the effect of tempering the body. It's really strong. Xia Ping was extremely satisfied. He felt his body was limp. Numb. Numb. There was a constant flow of hot energy, which was strengthening the body. The opponent's attack was like a hammer. Not only did it not hurt the body, but it was helping him to eliminate the impurities in his body. How is it possible? You're not hurt at all, are you kidding me? Tao Yun slapped a few times in a row, exerting all the true qi in his body and showing the secret skill of the cloud-parting palm, which was a little exhausted. He thought that even if the other party was not dead, he would be seriously injured. He still regretted it a little. Did he hit too hard? But after he finished, he found that this kid was still standing in the same place alive, nothing happened, and he didn't even move a step. What's the matter? Your palm is as weak as a woman, how can it let me have a problem? Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, still looking at Tao Yun faintly. This. Hearing this, Tao Yun's heart collapsed, and his face turned red. He used all his strength in the cloud-parting palm. In front of this man, it was as weak as a woman. How is this possible? What are you still doing here? Continue to use your strength. I haven't enjoyed enough yet. Continue to massage me. Xia Ping urged. It was a rare opportunity to test the power of the dark north body protection technique. He didn't want to miss it. After a few more slaps like this, he could quickly digest the energy of the golden potion in his body. In a few days, his dantian was full of true qi, and he could break through the 6th meridian and reach the realm of the 6th heaven of martial artists. No, my cloud-parting palm is not to massage you. I am very strong, not a woman. Hearing this, Tao Yun cried out at once, crying loudly, his eyes were watery, and he finally couldn't bear it. You bully people. Chapter 44. Seeing Tao Yun crying and leaving the ring, Xia Ping was speechless. Although this guy looked like a little submissive, he was also a powerhouse of the 6th heaven of martial disciple. How could he be so unbearable? He turned to look at the referee next to him. Referee, what should I do about this? It was also the first time the referee next to him had encountered this kind of thing. In the previous ring matches, some were seriously injured, some were knocked out of the ring, and some thought that they could not win and admitted defeat. But they had never been scared to cry, and instead ran away from the ring. Today was really an eye-opener. Well, Tao Yun left the ring, as if he automatically admitted defeat. Xia Ping won. The referee was also a veteran. He immediately found an explanation of the ring rules and announced the result of the match. But this result caused an uproar in the surrounding audience. Devil, this Xia Ping is definitely a devil. He actually scared Tao Yun to tears. This guy's heart is too black. He must have done it on purpose. In order to completely humiliate his opponent, he deliberately didn't make a move and let the opponent attack, but it was useless. Is there a more desperate fact than this? If I stood in the ring, I would probably collapse and cry. This approach is too cruel. In order to enjoy the fun of the game, this guy can't even defeat the enemy with one punch. Now it has gone one step further, even defeating the enemy's heart, trampling the enemy's dignity to nothing. If he is not a devil, who is a devil? No wonder he can hook up with the school flower, and also step on more than a dozen boats outside the school, making several high school girls pregnant. With such means, any woman will fall for it. But why haven't I heard of this kid's deeds before? He seems to be very low-key. Haven't you heard of a saying? Rabbits don't eat grass near their nest. This kid must know that he can't make things big in his own nest, so he only attacked people outside the school and has been low-key. But he couldn't stand the school flower Jiang Yaru's rohua, and finally extended his evil palm to the school flower. I didn't expect that things would be exposed, and all his previous misdeeds would be exposed. This Xia Ping, everyone should punish him. Many students below the arena were incomparably furious. They all regarded Xia Ping as the public enemy of the entire school. All of them wished they could beat up the extremely arrogant bastard on the arena. Hearing the voices around him, Xia Ping felt very speechless. He just wanted to test the Dark North body protection technique. How did he become a demon who likes to trample on other people's dignity? Furthermore, he had slept with more than a dozen girls, impregnated a few high school girls, and picked countless flowers. Which bastard had spread this rumor? How could he not know that he had done such a thing? However, Xia Ping heard the system prompts constantly increasing the hatred value, and he was too lazy to explain it. Anyway, it didn't seem to be a bad thing for him. At most, he would have a bad reputation. Half an hour later, the list of the top 8 was finally out. Xia Ping and even Jiang Yaru were among them. There was no other way. Jiang Yaru was a true martial arts genius, a proud daughter of heaven. To a certain extent, she was the #1 expert of 95th High School, having reached the 7th layer of martial disciple realm. It was rumored that she was one step away from breaking through to the 8th layer of martial disciple. With such results, she was very hopeful even if she was admitted to Yanhuang University, so her reputation was like the sun at noon in 95th High School. Jiang Yaru not only has beauty, but also her strength is second to none, so she can have many fans in school, and even many schoolgirls are her admirers. It can be said that she is the real favorite for the championship of this school fighting competition, and even Zhou Tai, and is far inferior to her. Xia Ping also entered the top 8 and was promoted to the 5th heavenly layer of martial disciple. Even Zhou Tai and was crippled by him with a single punch. When Jiang Yaru heard the news, he was also shocked and stunned. She never thought that Xia Ping would suddenly become so tough. When did this man become so excellent? Could it be that he had been pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger before, and now he really peeled off the pig's skin and revealed the tiger's true appearance? Not only Jiang Yaru was surprised, but even the students in class 36 of senior high school were frightened to death. They didn't know why Xia Ping, who has always been extremely ordinary, would be so fierce. This is simply a fantasy. How is this possible? Jiang Yaru's best friend Liang Xiaoxue also couldn't believe it. When she heard the name, she thought it was the same name or a mistake, but after repeated confirmation, Xia Ping did enter the top 8. Her face was very ugly. Even she was eliminated when she was in the top 32. This poor boy had the ability to enter the top 8 and defeated Zhou Tai and... Doesn't that mean that the other party is far above her? Thinking of this, she couldn't help clenching her fists, extremely unwilling. Losing to the genius Jiang Yaru was fine, but now even a poor boy was defeated. What is this? It's over, it's over. If this goes on, can we still get revenge? Among them, Gao Maru and Yang Wei were even more bitter. They were the ones who were the most frightened. The two of them had been looking forward to Xia Ping being beaten up since the beginning of Xia Ping's match with Zhou Tai and... But after every game, their hearts sank. When they entered the top 8, the two of them finally understood that they seemed to be not on the same level as Xia Ping. If this goes on, can this guy really get into Yanhuang University? Both Gao Maru and Yang Wei couldn't help but have such a thought in their hearts. But the more they thought about it, the more desperate they became. It seemed that if this went on, there was no hope for them to get revenge, and the gap between the two would become bigger and bigger. Before, it was Xia Ping who looked up to them, but now it was them who looked up to Xia Ping. Xiong Batian also received the news. His face was very gloomy. The atmosphere around him was very depressing. The students around him didn't dare to approach for fear of touching his bad luck. Because he didn't even enter the top 8. He was eliminated when he reached the top 16. But Xia Ping defeated Zhou Tai and entered the top 8. It was said that he didn't say anything at that time. He turned around and left, not even watching the rest of the game. Entered the top 8? The homeroom teacher, Zhou Xue, was also very surprised. Her impression of Xia Ping was just ordinary. It seemed that there was nothing special about him. The only impression she had of him was that when he first entered Lu Xiangtan, this student spoke arrogantly and said that he wanted to enter Yanhuang University. But it didn't take long for this student to be able to enter the top 8 of the school. This was simply incredible. Could it be that he was low-key before and didn't show his true level? Now because of Jiang Yaru, he finally showed some of his skills. Chapter 45. The Top 8. Xia Ping stood on the ring, and the other opponent was called Goldman Sachs, a strong man in the 6th heaven of martial arts. He was also a frequent visitor to the top 10 of the school. He used to have a great reputation. The students around held their breath and watched the fight between the two. Xia Ping. Goldman Sachs stared at Xia Ping and squeezed his fist. I don't know how you defeated Zhou Tai, and I don't know what despicable means you used, but don't think you can defeat me so easily. I, Goldman Sachs, have cultivated the intermediate martial arts Tiger Tyrant Fist. The power of the fist is unparalleled, and it is not comparable to your previous opponents. If you dare to underestimate me, I can send you to heaven with one punch. His face was very ferocious, and the muscles of his whole body bulged as if they were cast from fine steel. His whole body exuded a strong smell, like a tiger coming out of the depths of the jungle. In fact, he didn't brag. With his cultivation of Tiger Tyrant Fist, his attack power is second to none in the school, and his power is powerful and overbearing. Even Xiong Batian has to bow down in front of him. Even if Xia Ping defeated Zhou Tai, and he has absolute confidence that he will not lose to anyone. You cultivated Tiger Tyrant Fist. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. This is good, the stronger the attack, the better. If the attack power is weak, wouldn't it have no effect on him at all? What he wanted was an opponent with strong attack power. He raised his eyebrows, showing a contemptuous look, and said, who doesn't know how to brag? Zhou Tai and also bragged that he was the first in the school before, but I beat him with one punch. Tiger Tyrant Fist is powerful, but it's useless if the person is not powerful. I heard that some people have cultivated this Tiger Tyrant Fist into a cute fist. I don't know if you are like this. I'm selling your sister's cuteness. Hearing this, Goldman Sachs' lungs were exploding. This kid's mouth was so poisonous. His fierce and unparalleled Tiger Tyrant Fist became cute after this guy said it. He is a top student in the school and a strong man in the sixth heaven of martial arts. How can he cultivate a martial arts technique that is specifically for cuteness? This is the greatest humiliation to him. Since you want to die, I will help you. With a bang, when the referee announced the start, Goldman jumped out like a tiger, clenching his fists, the muscles all over his body tightened, exuding explosive power. The Zhen Qi in his body exploded, and it seemed to contain the strength of 1,000 jin. He punched out, but Xia Ping didn't even try to dodge. He just let the punch land on his body. What? This kid didn't dodge. Does he want to commit suicide? Goldman was shocked, but he couldn't retract his power now. Dong! His fist landed solidly on Xia Ping's chest, and the force radiated in all directions. It was as if a tiger's roar had come out of nowhere, shaking the forest and even the entire arena, as if it was on the verge of collapse. Sigh, what a pity. I thought this kid would be a good opponent after defeating Zhou Tai and... Goldman Sachs looked up at the sky and sighed. But I didn't expect him to be so stupid. He actually stood there and didn't move. I punched him. I guess he will have to stay in the hospital for 4 or 5 months this time. He won't be able to recover until after the college entrance examination. What are you shouting? Xia Ping stood in the same place, running the dark north body protecting Merit, feeling the shock from this huge and powerful force. The energy in his body was quickly refined, enjoying the pleasure of continuous improvement of strength. But I don't know why the guy in front of him seems to have stopped and is still pretending here, which makes him a little unhappy. Hey! Hearing Xia Ping's voice, Goldman Sachs was shocked. What's the matter? Why didn't you let out a blood-curdling scream? Why didn't you get punched by me and fall unconscious on the ground? According to normal logic, this kid was punched by himself and there was no reason not to be seriously injured. You want to make me scream and fall to the ground unconscious with your little strength? Xia Ping said disdainfully, I said, your fist technique can only be used to act cute, and it has little other use. Hearing this, Goldman Sachs was mad and shouted, impossible, how can there be people who don't fall to the ground screaming after being punched by me? I don't believe it, I don't believe it. He couldn't accept this absurd fact at all. He was furious, clenching his fists, like a storm, a huge fist, a punch on Xia Ping's body, it was all his strength. Bang bang bang. Every punch was like a morning bell and evening drum, bursting out with a shocking sound, but Xia Ping still stood in the same place, standing with his hands behind his back, not even moving a step, letting Goldman Sachs attack. In just 5 or 6 minutes, Goldman Sachs didn't know how many punches he had blasted, 100 punches, 200 punches, or even 300 punches, but this guy was still nothing, but he still showed a very enjoyable expression. It's worthy of being the person with the strongest attack power in the school. The power of each punch reaches at least 3,000 pounds of force. The huge vibration tempered my body and quickly refined the energy in my body. This guy is simply the best candidate to assist me in my cultivation. Xia Ping was extremely satisfied. He felt that the true qi in his body was constantly increasing, and the true qi in his dantian was full. He faintly felt that he was about to break through the 6th meridian and be promoted to the 6th heaven of the martial artist. Hey! The energy in the body is exhausted. Soon, he found that with Goldman Sachs's attack, it seemed that the effect on himself was getting weaker and weaker, and in the end, there was no way to help him improve his strength. It is estimated that after this attack, his body has been accustomed to the opponent's attack, and the energy of the golden potion has been completely refined, and he needs to take it again to be able to cultivate again. It seems that today can only end here. Xia Ping knew that even if he continued to fight like this, he would not be able to continue to improve his cultivation. But now Goldman Sachs was already panting and collapsed. He looked at Xia Ping with a little despair. Impossible. I have hit 200 or 300 punches, why are you okay? Are you still a human? I said, your fist can only be cute. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, showing the demeanor of a master. Even if I stand here and get beaten by you, I won't fight back at all, and I will be fine. But you have hit me so many punches, courtesy demands reciprocity, I will also punch you. Boom! As soon as the voice fell, Xia Ping raised his fist in vain, his bones creaked, his muscles tightened, his horse stance, twisting his waist, the power from the bottom to the top, a section of transmission, the air vibrated. He punched Goldman Sachs, like a meteorite hitting the ground, powerful and unparalleled, and hit Goldman Sachs's chest fiercely. Ah! Goldman Sachs immediately let out a miserable scream, 3 ribs were broken in an instant, and the powerful force hit his lungs. Chapter 46. The audience around looked very pitifully at Goldman Sachs, who was quickly carried away by the medical staff. It was estimated that after this blow, his heart had collapsed. He punched the enemy so many times and nothing happened. But when he was punched, he flew out, screamed, and was seriously injured and unconscious. Is there a crueler ending in the world than this? This Xia Ping is really a devil. Damn it, is there no one who can punish this bully? Looking at this kid's appearance on the ring, I'm not convinced. What kind of cultivation method did this kid cultivate? Why is it okay to hit him? There's no justice, such a scumbag can also enter the top 4, is there any law in the world? A group of spectators wailed. They were very aggrieved, and the depression in their hearts was basically indescribable. They watched this kid step by step into the top 4, and no one could stop him. The students in class 12 of high school were numb. He had entered the top 4. Even if this kid won the championship, it was not impossible. What kind of body protection cultivation method is this? How can it be so weird and powerful? Qiushua's beautiful eyes flickered, revealing a trace of doubt. Even with her eyes, she couldn't see what cultivation method Xia Ping was cultivating. However, this kind of thing can't be questioned. After all, the school is a place to preach and receive education. There is no mandatory requirement for students to cultivate any cultivation method. This is the student's freedom, and no one has the right to ask. Soon, the top 4 began. There is no doubt that Jiang Yaru easily defeated his opponent with his strong strength and entered the top 4. The other 2 who entered the top 4 are also regulars in the top 10 of the school. They are a man and a woman, named Hong Yu and Zhu Erqin, both of whom are masters of the 6th heaven of martial artists. Xia Ping's opponent is Hong Yu, and Zhu Erqin's opponent is Jiang Yaru. Clang when the bell rang, both groups of games were played at the same time. But what everyone didn't expect was that Hong Yu just came on the stage and said to the referee, I admit defeat. What? Everyone was shocked and looked at Hong Yu dumbfounded. They didn't expect Hong Yu to make such a decision. He actually admitted defeat in the top 4. Is he crazy? But Hong Yu also has his own ideas. After watching Xia Ping's previous games, he knew that he was not Xia Ping's opponent at all. If he forced himself to play, he was afraid that he would end up like Zhou Tai and Goldman Sachs. He must be seriously injured for a month. Since he couldn't defeat his opponent, he might as well just surrender. After all, the remaining few months of the college entrance examination were very important. There was no need to get injured here. The referee was also a little surprised. You really admit defeat? That's right, I admit defeat. Hong Yu left the ring without hesitation. The referee had no choice but to announce the result. Just like that, Xia Ping won without a fight and successfully entered the finals. As for Jiang Yaru, he also quickly defeated his opponent, Zhu Erqin. With a single punch, he sent Zhu Erqin flying off the stage, leaving her with no chance to retaliate. It can't be. Did they really let this kid enter the finals? Damn it, doesn't that mean this guy will win for sure? Who doesn't know that he's a gigolo and has an affair with Jiang Yaru? Isn't that right? When the time comes, this guy just needs to flatter Jiang Yaru and say some sweet nothings to get Jiang Yaru to surrender. Wouldn't the school championship be in his hands in a matter of minutes? This is a black box operation. Both husband and wife have already taken first and second place. What's there to fight about? I can't accept this. This kid won the championship and brought home a beauty. He took all the benefits. Don't worry, this bastard will be struck by lightning sooner or later. Many of the students cursed fiercely, extremely unwilling to accept this. At this time, Xia Ping and Jiang Yaru also entered the ring. Finally, it was time for the finals. Once they won, they would be the school champion and receive a prize of 100,000 federal coins. Of course, even second place would receive a prize of 10,000 federal coins. Third and fourth place would receive 5,000 federal coins, 1,000 federal coins, and so on. Xia Ping. Jiang Yaru looked at Xia Ping with a burning gaze, revealing a strange expression. I never thought that one day I would be able to fight you in the ring. This feeling is too strange. Because according to Xia Ping's previous results, that is, the realm of the third heaven of martial disciple, he was not even qualified to participate in the fighting competition, let alone be able to stand on the stage of the final. 30 years east, 30 years west, don't bully the young poor. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, showing the demeanor of a grandmaster. His eyes seemed to see through the prosperity of the world. Don't think that I'm the same as before. If I really fight, even you Jiang Yaru will not be my opponent. It seems that you are indeed a little different. Jiang Yaru also felt that Xia Ping's momentum was completely different from before. He was no longer the big boy in the neighbor's house, but a martial arts powerhouse who could compete with him in the ring. Even Zhou Tai and Goldman Sachs were beaten by him with one punch and had no power to fight back. This combat power, even she would not underestimate, must be treated with caution. Come on, let me see how much you have grown. Jiang Yaru put on a posture, exuding the powerful momentum of the seventh heaven of martial disciple realm, like a mountain. This is the true appearance of a genius girl who dominates the whole school. Once she starts, she is stronger than anyone else. I admit defeat. Suddenly, Xia Ping turned to the referee and said, Admit defeat? Jiang Yaru was stunned. What the hell is going on? Just now that martial arts powerhouse appearance, that expression that I will never lose, now you actually admit defeat to me, what a joke. The referee was also a little confused and at a loss. Xia Ping, don't joke, fight me seriously immediately. Jiang Yaru said angrily. I know you are very strong, and it is impossible for you to admit defeat so easily. Are you looking down on me, Jiang Yaru? She glared at Xia Ping, exuding a terrible anger, like a fierce tiger. Hearing this, Xia Ping touched the back of his head, showing a very worried look, and said, Wife, don't be angry, we can talk about the duel later, but you have to be careful, don't hurt the baby. Of course, if you want to hit me, just hit me. My skin is rough and thick, and I can bear it. I have been beaten by you many times before, and I have long been used to it. He patted his chest to show that he was strong. Jiang Yaru was stunned, her head was a paste, and she couldn't think. She didn't understand what Xia Ping was saying at all. Baby? What are you talking about? Her eyes were full of doubts. Chapter 47. Oh my God, this news is really true. Jiang Yaru was pregnant by this shameless scumbag. A male student looked up to the sky and sighed, tears streaming down his face. He seemed to have suffered a major blow and collapsed. This Xia Ping is a beast, absolutely a beast. He has no humanity. He made a high school girl pregnant at such a young age. Is he still a human? Everyone, tell me, is he a human? A tall student was filled with grief and indignation. He wanted nothing more than to rush up and beat Xia Ping up. In fact, there were many people who had the same idea. They were just short of someone going up and shouting. There's no justice, what's so good about this bastard Xia Ping? Any one of us here is 100 times better than this Xia Ping. In terms of family background, in terms of appearance, what does he have to compare to us? A group of students was furious, and there was a bit of a surging crowd. I understand why the top strong people like Tao Yun and Goldman Sachs are not this guy's opponents. No matter how they hit Xia Ping, he is indifferent. His body is as hard as a steel plate. It seems that there is nothing to attack him. A student wearing glasses suddenly realized and seemed to have solved a shocking problem. Someone immediately asked, "What's going on? Hurry up and say it. Didn't you hear what Xia Ping said just now?" The student wearing glasses speculated mysteriously and said, "Jiang Yaru is pregnant. She has a bad temper and is more terrible than a woman when she comes to her period. She often beats Xia Ping. Think about it, what kind of person is Jiang Yaru? She is a proud daughter of heaven and a strong martial artist at the 7th heavenly layer. She can be called the number one in the school and is invincible. To put it simply, she is a humanoid female Tyrannosaurus. People like Xiong Batian can only be beaten in front of her. Often beaten by such people, as long as you don't die, even tofu will be tempered into steel. Xia Ping has become so strong, it's understandable." Everyone suddenly realized why Xia Ping was so strong. This kid was originally a waste wood, the kind that was very inconspicuous in the school, and anyone could step on him. However, after hooking up with Jiang Yaru, he was often beaten, so he trained his skills. After all, if you want to survive under the beating of a humanoid female Tyrannosaurus, you can't not become stronger. Big brother, after hearing what you said, I suddenly feel that it makes sense. The plot is very vivid. Damn it, why is this kid's life so good? He was beaten up by the campus belle, but he actually trained his martial arts to the point that he could enter the finals. Is he this strong? I don't really believe it. To be honest, I'm not afraid of being laughed at, but I'm often beaten up by my girlfriend who weighs more than 150 pounds, but it didn't have such an effect. I just went to the hospital for emergency treatment a few times. Of course, she didn't do it on purpose. Sometimes, she doesn't know how to control her hands and feet. How can your girlfriend compare to the campus belle, Jiang Yaru? When they beat their boyfriends, they beat them to death. It's the kind that completely stimulates their body's potential. It's on a different level. I'm still very interested in this brother's experience. May I ask how you hooked up with that girlfriend? You're still not breaking up. Are you being threatened? Many students talked about it. They all understood why Xia Ping became so strong. Rome wasn't built in a day. It was estimated that it was only after years of training that he could have such skills. The students of class 12 were also in a circle. Although the rumor that Jiang Yaru was pregnant came from them, it was a rumor after all, and it had not been confirmed. But now this bastard Xia Ping actually admitted it. It was true. Qiu Xue, the homeroom teacher, was even more dumbfounded. She felt that she had only been a homeroom teacher for half a year, but she had experienced too many things. There were 2 students who were arrested by the police for running naked in school and detained for 7 days, which already made her a big headache. But now, a top student, the goddess of the school, got pregnant, and the father was even her classmate. Oh my god, why is this society so complicated? Xia Ping. Hearing the discussions of the students around her, Jiang Yaru finally understood what this bastard meant. She was so angry that her white and tender face immediately turned red, and her head almost emitted smoke. She had nothing to do with this shameless bastard at all. They were just neighbors who knew each other since childhood. When did she get pregnant by this man, and even have a fetus? Where did this rumor come from? Although she hadn't beaten Xia Ping before, she didn't know why. This time she very much wanted to beat this shameless man in front of her and deliberately spread rumors. Xia Ping rolled his eyes and said, "Well, if there's nothing else, I'll leave. I suddenly feel a little urgent to pee and want to go to the toilet." After dropping this sentence, he slipped away. Bastard! Jiang Yaru was so angry that she almost died. How could she let this brat slip away? But before she could stop this brat, the referee came over, grabbed her hand, raised it high, and announced loudly, "I declare, the champion is Jiang Yaru." I. Jiang Yaru wanted to catch up, but was caught by the referee. She couldn't move. After all, after winning the championship, she must go to the podium to receive the reward. It was impossible to let her leave. She was so angry that she stamped her feet. Just wait, this bastard will be caught by her sooner or later. At that time, she must give this bastard Xia Ping a good look, otherwise she won't be Jiang Yaru. At this time, Xia Ping came to the toilet. He was indeed a little pea, and just took advantage of this opportunity to hide. Otherwise, if other students saw him, they might really come over and beat him up. Didi the system's voice came, "Congratulations to the host," causing public anger and attracting a lot of hatred. So far, the host has received a total of 3,700 hatred points. I hope to continue to work hard. 3,700 hatred points. Hearing this number, Xia Ping's eyes lit up. Originally, because of the exchange of Dark Northa's body protection technique, the hatred points on his body were basically consumed. But because of the duel, it aroused the anger of a large number of students, and suddenly gained more than 3,000 hatred points, which was simply a big harvest. The only drawback was that he had now become the public enemy of the school, and his reputation was worse than dog shit. Maybe when he walked on the road, he would be thrown rotten eggs or something. There must be a loss when there is a gain. There is nothing more in the world than this. Xia Ping was very open-minded and didn't continue to worry about this kind of thing. Forget it, it's already evening. Let's go home for dinner. After a day of competition, it was already 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and he was hungry. Chapter 48. Seeing these people in white training clothes surrounding him, Xia Ping's eyes flickered, but he did not panic. This was the school gate. In public, these people would not dare to make a move. And even if they really made a move, he was not afraid. "Are you Xia Ping?" The person who spoke was a young man with a buzz cut. He was about 17 or 18 years old. His body was very strong, his eyes were like a god, and his whole body exuded a powerful aura. His every move seemed to be natural. It seemed that while walking, he integrated martial arts into his ordinary movements. Xia Ping immediately saw that the other party was a master, stronger than Zhou Tai, and "I am. Why are you looking for me?" Xia Ping looked at the man with a buzz cut lightly. The eyes of the man with a buzz cut revealed a terrifying light, and he said aggressively, "My name is Yao Zhong, the eldest disciple of Wu Wei Martial Arts Hall. Zhou Tai and also studies in this martial arts hall. That is to say, he is my junior brother. Do you understand what I mean?" The huge momentum on his body crushed down as if he wanted to force Xia Ping to surrender. "So that's how it is. Zhou Tai and can't beat me, so he asked you, his senior brother, to trouble me? Xia Ping looked at the other party disdainfully. After beating the young one, the old one came out. It seems that Zhou Tai and is really a sore loser. Shut up, you kid, what do you know? Who are you calling a sore loser? Don't spread rumors here. Senior brother Zhou didn't ask us to come. We came by ourselves. A group of men in white training clothes shouted angrily and stared at Xia Ping angrily. They simply wanted to eat this kid alive. If they let others believe that their Wuwei martial arts hall was a group of sore losers, their reputation would be ruined. It seems that you are not only despicable and shameless, but your mouth is also very poisonous. Yao Zhong stared at Xia Ping, but martial artists rely on strength, skills, and the strong are respected, not words. People who only rely on their mouth to speak will only have this little ability in their lifetime. There was a hint of coldness at the corner of his mouth. Xia Ping said lightly, really? Your junior brother seems to have been defeated by someone who only knows how to talk, and he was crippled with one punch. He can't even get up. Shut up, did I allow you to speak? You don't know how to appreciate favors. Yao Zhong's eyes flashed with a cold light. He suddenly made a move and slapped Xia Ping's face. The sound of the slap whistled through the air, containing a powerful force. Moreover, this palm was extremely strange and terrifying. In the blink of an eye, countless palm shadows appeared in the air, like butterflies flying through flowers. It was impossible to see through this palm. Whoosh! Xia Ping didn't even look at it. His figure flashed and he took a few steps back, easily dodging the palm. With a bang, the palm struck empty air. The powerful palm force vibrated and shot out in all directions. A clear palm print was immediately left on a nearby cement wall. Gravel fell with a crash. What? This kid actually dodged eldest senior brother's 1,000 illusory palms. How is this possible? A group of men in white exercise clothes were shocked. They had planned to watch a good show. They wanted to see the miserable state of this brat being slapped by their senior brother. If he was slapped, he would probably lose a few teeth. His mouth would be full of blood and he would be lying on the ground like a dog. However, this brat had easily dodged the palm strike, appearing as if it was as light as the clouds and gentle as the wind. No wonder you can defeat my junior brother Zhou Tai and... Yao Zhong's eyes flashed. You can actually escape my 1,000 illusory palms. It seems that you are not a fake. He is a powerhouse of the 7th heaven of martial disciple, and it was a sudden attack. But this kid can actually avoid it. This state is very unusual. Do you want to die? Xia Ping's eyes showed a trace of anger. This guy clearly wanted to provoke him. If he didn't avoid it just now, he would have been slapped away by him immediately. His face would have been swollen and he would have been thoroughly humiliated. Looking for death? Yao Zhong sneered, with your strength, you want to fight me? I advise you to bear it. Even if you are lucky enough to escape my palm, you can't be my opponent. And I'm not here to fight with you. I'm just here to warn you. Don't be too arrogant. Otherwise, sooner or later, you will be in trouble. Although my junior brother lost to you this time, it doesn't mean he will lose to you in the future. This hatred, he will come to avenge himself in the future, you just wait. After saying this, he wanted to leave with a group of people. You hit me with a palm. Do you think you can leave so easily? Xia Ping looked at Yao Zhong faintly. You also take a punch from me. Let's see if you have this qualification to talk big. Boom! In an instant, his body moved, and his momentum skyrocketed. He crossed 3 or 4 meters in an instant, came to Yao Zhong, and punched him in vain. Dragon Fist of 5 forms fist, blue dragon moves the sky. What? Yao Zhong's face changed drastically. How could he think that this kid dared to attack him, a powerhouse of the 7th heaven of martial disciple, and he was a little caught off guard. And this punch was extremely terrifying and overbearing, exuding a huge force of thousands of pounds, rumbling, and the energy radiating in all directions, as if there was a giant dragon roaring in the void, shaking the world. In a hurry, he could only stretch out his hands and put on a defensive posture. The fist and the two palms collided, and the energy exploded. Yao Zhong couldn't bear this terrifying force, and his body was immediately blasted out. Boom! His body slammed into the school wall, creating a human-shaped pit. Gravel splashed everywhere, smoke and dust billowed, and even he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood, and his lungs were injured. You dare to talk nonsense to me with this little ability. You, Yao Zhong, are not qualified. Do you understand? Xia Ping looked at Yao Zhong, who was blown away by his own punch, and stood with his hands behind his back. If you make me angry, I will also cripple you with one punch and send you to the hospital, just like your stupid junior brother. Hearing this, a group of men in white exercise clothes were angry and exploded. Sneak attack, and you dare to be so arrogant? You dare to attack senior brother Yao, you want to die. Let's go up and kill him together and show him some power. They were all mad with anger. You want to fight? You'd better think about it. Xia Ping sneered. This is Tianshui City 95th High School. This is my territory. As long as I call, hundreds of brothers will come out. If you want to die, do it. Hearing this, the dozen or so men in white exercise clothes were suddenly stunned and a little timid. Only now did they remember that they were in someone else's territory, standing at the school gate. If this kid really shouted, maybe hundreds of people would rush out immediately and beat them up. At that time, they would probably be miserable, and they would have to go to the hospital for at least a few months. Chapter 49. Stop it. With a crash, the gravel rolled down, and Yao Zhong walked out of the wall. He looked at Xia Ping with an extremely gloomy face. He didn't expect that this kid would dare to attack him. And the strength of the other party is indeed not simple. He is just a martial artist at the 5th heavenly layer, but he has the strength to send him flying with a punch, so that he doesn't even have time to react. Although there is also a reason for his own carelessness, overall, this kid is really strong. No wonder he can defeat Zhou Tai and with one punch. This is not unreasonable. Senior brother Yao. A group of men in white exercise clothes looked at Yao Zhong, gritting their teeth, very unwilling. Yao Zhong stared at Xia Ping gloomily. You are very good, you actually have the ability to send me flying with one punch. Although it was a sneak attack while I was careless, I have to admit that you have some ability. Don't pretend, you vomited blood after being punched by me. Xia Ping said contemptuously. To be honest, even if you are not careless, you are not my opponent. Fuck, this kid is too arrogant. A group of men in white exercise clothes were mad, and they couldn't wait to rush up and beat this bastard up. It was clear that he relied on a sneak attack to send senior brother Yao Zhong flying. Now he is very arrogant to come out and show off. They have never seen such a cheap person. It's just a trash at the 5th heavenly layer. Facing a master at the 7th heavenly layer, what qualifications does he have to say such words? It's clear that he needs to be beaten up. Yao Zhong's face was extremely ugly. If he could, he would like to rush up and beat this kid up, but in fact, after being punched by the other party, his body was more or less injured, and his combat power was damaged. If they really fought, he might not be the opponent of the other party. Of course, he would not admit this kind of thing even if he was beaten to death. Xia Ping, I don't want to argue with you. Experts are made through fighting, not through bragging. Yao Zhong stared at Xia Ping and said, you have become the top 10 in the school this time, and you will inevitably represent the 95th high school in the Tianshui City High School fighting competition, and I am also the representative of the 99th high school. When the time comes, I want to see if you can still be so arrogant in the ring. Let's go. After saying this, he turned around and left with his group of brothers. Although the other men in white exercise clothes were very unwilling, they also knew that it was a very unwise thing to look for trouble in front of someone else's school. They might be attacked by a group of people. Therefore, they all glared at Xia Ping without saying anything and quickly left with Yao Zhong. A bunch of idiots. Xia Ping looked at these people from Wuwei Martial Arts Hall contemptuously. If these people besieged him together, he could only run away. That was because he was now the school's public enemy, the kind that angered both humans and gods. He didn't have the ability to raise his voice, and if the students saw him getting beaten up, they might even cheer for him. Of course, these people from Wuwei Martial Arts Hall didn't know about this and they were all frightened. But will we meet again in the arena? I'm afraid that the next time we meet, I will not be a martial artist at the fifth heavenly layer. Xia Ping's eyes showed a cold light, looking at the back of those people leaving. Yao Zhong and his group quickly returned to Wuwei Martial Arts Hall. All of them were sullen and clenched their fists, extremely unwilling. Damn it, senior brother Yao, why do you have to endure it? That's right, it's just a trash at the fifth heavenly layer. With senior brother Yao's strength, one punch is enough to disable this kid and send him directly to the hospital. If you are afraid of being besieged by people from 95th High School, you don't have to be afraid. At worst, we will fight to the death with him. Yes, who is afraid of who? It's not like we haven't been injured before. I can't swallow being squeezed by that kid like this. The group of people was furious. They were all angered by Xia Ping just now, and everyone wanted revenge. Puff. At this time, Yao Zhong couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood on the wooden floor. His face was pale, and his body seemed very weak. Senior brother Yao. Everyone was taken aback and wanted to support Yao Zhong. They didn't know why this happened to Yao Zhong. Don't worry, I'm fine. It's just a mouthful of extravasated blood. I'll be fine after I spit it out. Yao Zhong waved his hand, indicating that the injury on his body was not a big deal. Someone was shocked. No, senior brother Yao, did that shameless bastard really say it? That kid attacked you just now and injured you with one punch? Everyone else showed an unbelievable look. Yao Zhong was a powerhouse at the 7th heavenly layer. How could he be injured by a little martial artist at the 5th heavenly layer? Even if it was a sneak attack, it would be very difficult. Although I'm very unwilling, that kid did hurt me. Yao Zhong clenched his fists, and his face was very unwilling. He can defeat junior brother Zhou Tai, and it's not a bluff. That kind of attack power is indeed enough to threaten the power of the 7th heavenly layer. I was careless just now and was hit by a move. If it weren't for this, he would have fought back just now. How could he endure it and be so aggrieved? Someone's face was extremely ugly. If this is the case, doesn't it mean that even senior brother Yao is not that kid's opponent? Do we have no choice but to swallow this insult? The others were also unwilling. They were all martial artists, and all of them were hot-blooded and arrogant. How could they swallow their anger when they fought over a single word of disagreement? Swallow fart. Yao Zhong squeezed his fists and sneered, that kid was just a sneak attack and hit me when I was unprepared. With his real ability, how could he be my opponent? And I am at the peak of the 7th heavenly layer. In another month, I will be able to break through the 8th meridian and be promoted to the 8th heavenly layer. My strength will increase greatly, and my punch will have the power of 10,000 jin. It's easy to deal with a martial artist at the 5th heavenly layer. His eyes were extremely arrogant and full of absolute confidence. As expected of senior brother Yao, he is too powerful. He is just a high school student, and he has the opportunity to break through to the 8th heavenly layer. If this is not a genius, what is a genius? It is estimated that big brother Yao is the strongest in the nearby high schools. With such strength, even in the Tianshui City High School fighting competition, he can achieve very good results. That kid is dead. It's okay if he doesn't meet senior brother Yao. Once he meets him, his end will be miserable. A group of people talked about it, and their eyes lit up. The martial artist 9 heavenly layers, one heavenly layer is stronger than the other. Some strong people can fight across the first heavenly layer, but it is simply impossible to challenge the third heavenly layer. Chapter 50. Seeing Xia Ping come in, his mother Huang Lanxin immediately stepped forward and asked, "Son, what the hell is going on? How did I hear that you made Yara pregnant? When did this happen? Why didn't you tell us about such an important thing? Now people are dying." She looked at Xia Ping with a dignified face. Xia Ping didn't know what to say for a while. He didn't know that the rumors in the school had spread to his home so quickly. The speed of the rumors was really amazing. "Son, you're doing this a bit too much." His father Xia Chuanlu said bitterly, "You're only a high school student and you know how to play with women everywhere. You've even killed people. You're not as mature and steady as your father. To tell you the truth, before I met your mother, I was still a virgin, and I didn't even hold a girl's hand." Xia Ping looked at his father contemptuously. "Is this mature and steady? It's just that he's not popular. Do you think I can't hear it if you change your words? What's that look in your eyes, son?" Xia Chuanlu was a little crazy and said, "Don't think I can't see what you're thinking. Anyway, you think your father was not popular at that time, so you're like this. But in fact, your guess is wrong, very wrong. At that time, Xia Chuanlu was the most handsome man in the school. I don't know how many girls' first love and dream lover. I almost became a star, you know. Although I'm middle-aged and fat now, with a beer belly, waistline is a few circles bigger, and even the hairline has receded, I can't deny that I was handsome and unrestrained." He almost wanted to take out the photos of his youth. "Well, don't brag here." His mother Huang Lanxin glared at Xia Chuanlu and said, "Now we have to solve the problem of our son's marriage. The girl is pregnant. This is not a trivial matter, you know." "Ahem." Xia Chuanlu coughed and said with a straight face, "That's right. Son, tell me what to do. Yaru is the child of our neighbor. We've known each other since childhood. She's beautiful and has a good character. Although I don't know why she's blind to fall in love with a guy like you, we can only accept it. Our Xia family is not the kind of people who don't wipe their mouths after eating. We have to take responsibility for what we have to do." Hearing this, Xia Ping looked at his father speechlessly. Was he really that unbearable? He actually thought that other people were blind to fall for him. "You can't say that. Our son does have some good points, but they are not obvious." His mother, Huang Lanxin, said, "To be able to do this kind of thing this time, I guess the ancestors' graves are smoking." The corner of Xia Ping's mouth twitched. What advantage was there that wasn't obvious? Was it still an advantage if it wasn't obvious? Why not just say that he didn't have any good points on him? Was there a need to beat around the bush? He coughed and stopped his parents from continuing. "You've misunderstood. Those are just rumors. There's nothing between me and her. She's not pregnant." "What?" Hearing this, his mother Huang Lanxin obviously showed a disappointed look, but it seemed that she had expected it. "I knew it. There's no such thing as a free lunch falling from the sky." His father, Xia Chuanlu, looked up at the sky and let out a long sigh. "Looks like, son, if you want to get rid of being single, you'll need to go on a blind date. You'll have to follow in my footsteps. But don't worry, this is a family tradition." Xia Ping ignored his two strange parents, went straight to the living room for dinner, and then went back to his bedroom to rest. 3 days later, one morning, in the bedroom. Boom! Xia Ping ran the pure yang immortal secret art. His body shook, and the true qi in his body surged. The sunlight outside the window shone in and turned into endless energy that poured into his body. At the same time, the energy of the 2 or 3 bottles of golden potions that he had just taken was also quickly refined with the help of the pure yang immortal secret art, turning into a large amount of true qi and pouring into the depths of his dantian. Rumble at this moment, the air around him vibrated, and the true qi in his body surged like a tide, flowing around the meridians of his body. With a snap, a checkpoint was immediately broken by a powerful force. Finally, at this time, Xia Ping connected the 6th meridian and was promoted to the 6th heaven of the martial artist. 6th heaven of the martial artist. Xia Ping clenched his fists and opened his eyes, revealing a terrifying light, as if it contained a flame. There were sun symbols spinning in the depths of his pupils, revealing a mysterious taste. He felt that at the moment when he was promoted to the 6th heaven of the martial artist, his body's strength and speed had been greatly improved, at least more than 40% stronger. Even the true qi in his body has become a lot stronger, and he has the power to smash mountains. Even his spiritual force has become a lot stronger, and the exploration range has increased to 30 meters. As long as he thinks about it, 30 meters centered on his body is within his exploration range. Even if a fly flies by, an ant crawls by, he knows it clearly. This Dark North body protection technique is really amazing. It is worthy of being the best auxiliary technique. Xia Ping couldn't help but sigh. He had expected that it would take at least a month for him to be able to promote to the 6th heaven of the martial artist. But who could have thought that after practicing this technique, with the assistance of others, he would be able to temper his body and enhance the efficiency of energy absorption. In just 3 days, he absorbed 10 bottles of golden potions, and finally filled his dantian with true qi and successfully broke through to the realm of the 6th heaven of the martial artist. But if I want to continue to speed up my cultivation, I'm afraid I need to find more opponents and let more strong people beat the body, so as to enhance the efficiency of the body's energy absorption. Xia Ping's eyes flashed, and his eyes flashed with a trace of ambition. Now he not only wants to be promoted to the 7th heaven of the martial artist, even if it is the 8th heaven of the martial artist, he wants to reach the 9th heaven. After all, in the high school student fighting competition, it is said that even the monsters of the 9th heaven of the martial artist also exist, just the realm of the 6th heaven of the martial artist is not enough. But the problem is that if he wants to run the Dark North body protection technique for cultivation, he must find more opponents, but there are fewer and fewer people in the school who are qualified to be his opponents. If it is an opponent weaker than himself, then it is of no use to him. Attacking him is similar to an ant, and it is impossible to continue to improve his cultivation. It seems that I must find a place where there are a lot of opponents, and they need to be strong enough. Xia Ping's eyes flickered, thinking about the future cultivation problems. Right, Martial Arts Hall. Chapter 51. The so-called martial arts hall was actually equivalent to the cram school in his previous life. Because the college entrance examination required martial arts, and every parent wanted their children to have good academic performance. What they learned from school was not enough, so they sent them to the martial arts hall for further training. Therefore, the martial arts hall gathered the top students of the major schools in Tianshui City. There were even rumors that people who had not gone to a martial arts hall basically could not get into a first-class university. Of course, just like cram schools, there were good and bad ones, and martial arts halls naturally had big and small reputations. The more famous the martial arts hall, the more students there were, and the stronger the students inside. Wuwei Martial Arts Hall was undoubtedly a very famous martial arts hall. It had taught many strong people, and even people like Zhou Tai, and were attracted to it. It seems that I have to go to Wuwei Martial Arts Hall today. There should be a lot of masters in that place. It is a suitable place to accompany me to practice. Xia Ping's eyes flickered, and he immediately made a decision. Time passed in the blink of an eye, and soon it was time for school in the afternoon. Wuwei Martial Arts Hall was not far from Tianshui City 95th High School. It was about 3 or 4 bus stops away. Xia Ping took the automatic driverless electric smart bus and arrived at Wuwei Martial Arts Hall a few minutes later. This is Wuwei Martial Arts Hall. After getting off the bus, Xia Ping came to the door of Wuwei Martial Arts Hall and saw a huge building in front of him. It was square and very quaint in style, like an ancient quadrangle. At the door, there were 2 stone lions as tall as a person, and a plaque was placed on it. The words, Wuwei Martial Arts Hall, were written on the white paper. At this time, some part-time students seemed to be handing out leaflets at the door, constantly recruiting students. Friend. A tall man saw Xia Ping coming, and his eyes suddenly lit up. He immediately came up with a very enthusiastic attitude. You want to join Wuwei Martial Arts Hall, right? Let me tell you, you are right to come. Who doesn't know that Wuwei Martial Arts Hall is a well-known martial arts hall in Tianshui City? There are countless strong martial artists who go out from here. Even the top students of major schools join here. As long as you train in Wuwei Martial Arts Hall for 2 or 3 months, I believe that your martial arts cultivation will definitely advance by leaps and bounds. It will not be a problem even if you are admitted to a first-class university. 3 months is 15,000 federal coins. Of course, the price is not very friendly, but I can guarantee that it is absolutely worth the money. Everyone who comes here gives us a thumbs up. He was like a salesman, constantly promoting Wuwei Martial Arts Hall to Xia Ping. However, this price was not only unfriendly to the people, it was also ridiculously expensive. The tuition fee for a semester in 95th High School was only more than 1,000 federal coins, but just 3 months of training here required 15,000 federal coins, which was not something that ordinary people could afford. I'm here to challenge the dojo. Xia Ping said faintly to this chattering guy. What? Not only the tall man, but even some of the people who were handing out flyers next to him were stunned. They seemed to be shocked and turned to look at Xia Ping. Here to challenge the dojo. The tall man had a faint smile on his face. He turned to the person inside and shouted, Senior Brother Su, another reckless person has come to challenge the dojo. Come and deal with him. What? There were actually some idiots who came here today. They were really courting death. Where did they think this place was? If I don't teach them a lesson, they will think that my Wuwei Martial Arts Hall is easy to bully. With a snap, a 2-meter-tall man walked out of the door like an iron tower. He walked over step by step. His momentum was very strong and amazing. He clenched his fists and looked at Xia Ping with a grim face. Kid, is that you? You want to challenge the dojo here? You didn't study well, but you dare to come here to cause trouble? Come with me, I will give you a free martial arts lesson. As soon as his voice fell, he immediately stretched out a big hand and wanted to grab Xia Ping's head. Boom! Without waiting for the man's hand to come close, Xia Ping suddenly made his move. He punched the man in front of him with the force of a thunderbolt. Ah! The man let out a scream. His face twisted in pain. His huge body flew up like a ball and slammed into the nearby cement wall. With a snap, a human-shaped hole immediately appeared in the cement wall. Countless cracks appeared and gravel rolled down. The man who was like an iron tower was smashed against the wall. His body couldn't move. 5 or 6 ribs on his body were broken. Even blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He looked very miserable. This. The students next to him were all stunned and looked at the Iron Tower man in disbelief. They knew how strong this man was. He was a powerhouse in the 6th layer of martial arts. Even in the Wuwei Martial Arts Hall, he was regarded as an elite. He swept many brothers and sisters. His fist power was unparalleled. But he was seriously injured and fell to the ground after just one punch from this kid. Someone really came to challenge the dojo. The tall man suddenly reacted, showing a look of incomparable horror. This time, he really realized that the man in front of him really came here to challenge the dojo, not to be funny. He panicked and scrambled into the martial arts club to report this matter to his fellow disciples inside. Ta. Xia Ping walked in step by step, calmly and leisurely, as if he was strolling in a garden. At this time, the students around showed incomparable awe. They didn't dare to stop him at all. They could only watch the other party enter the Wuwei Martial Arts Hall. After entering the Wuwei Martial Arts Hall, he immediately found that there was a martial arts field in front of him. It was a large open space, equivalent to the school stadium. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The tall man went to report. As a result, the students in the martial arts hall were alarmed one by one. They ran out of the dojo and appeared at the martial arts field all of a sudden. Suddenly, hundreds of people gathered on this side of the martial arts field. The momentum was very amazing. The person in the lead was Yao Zhong, a powerhouse in the 7th layer of martial arts. Damn, isn't this guy Xia Ping from 95th Middle School? Why did he come here? It really is that brat. With that annoying appearance, I would recognize him even if he turned into ashes. It's him. When I dreamed last night, I dreamed of him. At that time, I beat him hundreds of times and made him kneel on the ground and beg for mercy. This is really a dream that I haven't had for a long time. I heard that this kid is here to challenge the dojo. Damn, we didn't even look for trouble with him, but he came to our door. A group of men in white exercise clothes talked about it, all filled with righteous indignation, staring at Xia Ping in front of them. They all followed Yao Zhong to find trouble with Xia Ping. Of course, they knew this kid. Xia Ping, what are you doing here? Chapter 52. I'm here to challenge the dojo. Looking at Yao Zhong in front of him, Xia Ping directly stated his purpose this time. Challenge the dojo. Hearing these careless words, Yao Zhong's heart immediately surged with anger. He was attacked and punched by this kid before and was almost seriously injured. The two sides were like fire and water. But he hadn't looked for trouble with this kid yet, but this bastard came to his door personally to find trouble with him. Even if he was arrogant, there should be a limit. He looked down on people too much. In words that your IQ can understand, it is to beat you up. Xia Ping felt that he had to explain it in a simple way, otherwise, such people might not understand. Beat us up. Everyone in the Wuwei Martial Arts Hall was mad. He came to challenge the dojo just to beat them up. How much did he look down on them? Could it be that they could only be beaten up? Too arrogant. Xia Ping, you are looking for death. If you dare to come to the Wuwei Martial Arts Hall, you have come to the wrong place. There is no need for Brother Yao Zhong to do anything. I can beat you up alone. A group of Wuwei Martial Arts Hall members were so angry that they were like cats whose tails had been stepped on. Among them, there was a bald man with a very violent temper. He immediately couldn't suppress his inner anger. With a whoosh, he rushed out in an instant and punched, trying to knock Xia Ping down. Stupid. Xia Ping was calm and relaxed. He just watched the bald man make a move. Just at the moment when the other party approached him, he suddenly made a move as fast as lightning, exuding a grandmaster-like aura. Strike after strike. With a bang, he slapped the bald man's face with his backhand. The bald man immediately flew up on the spot and spun 5 or 6 times in the air. Ah! At the same time, the bald man let out a scream. Several teeth flew out mixed with blood. Finally, he fell to the ground. His eyes were white and his mouth was foaming. He was already unconscious. What? Many disciples were shocked. This bald man was a powerhouse at the 6th layer of the martial arts hall. He could be regarded as an elite of the martial arts hall, but he couldn't withstand a slap from this kid and was knocked out at once. Even though they knew that this kid's strength was not simple, they didn't expect him to be this strong. I told you, I'm here to beat you up. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and looked at the people of Wuwei Martial Arts Hall faintly. Line up one by one, don't worry. The people of Wuwei Martial Arts Hall were so angry that smoke was coming out of their noses. This bastard was really getting more and more arrogant. Yao Zhong's face was gloomy as he stared at Xia Ping, so that's how it is. I haven't seen you for a few days. You have actually connected 6 meridians and promoted to the 6th heaven of martial arts. Your strength has increased greatly. No wonder you dare to come to my door to smash. His eyes were very sharp, and he immediately saw through Xia Ping's martial arts cultivation. The disciples of Wuwei Martial Arts Hall were all shocked. This kid was promoted to the 6th heavenly layer so quickly. Wasn't he only at the 5th heavenly layer before? How could he break through so quickly? It's not as exaggerated as my strength has increased. It's just to the point where I can beat you up. It's not worth mentioning. Xia Ping said lightly, his eyes extremely calm. What the fuck? Was there anything more arrogant than this? What do you mean by, just enough to beat us up? Doesn't this mean that his strength is completely above theirs? What did this bastard eat to have such a big mouth? Did he eat garlic? A group of people stared at Xia Ping angrily, clenching their fists, and the scene was a little out of control. Xia Ping. Even if Yao Zhong's shrewdness was deep, in the face of this situation, he couldn't help it and said angrily, "You injured my junior brother Zhou Tai, and before and sent him to the hospital. I won't argue with you. You sneak attacked and injured me before, and your means were despicable. I won't argue with you. But do you really think that I, Yao Zhong, have no temper and is a soft persimmon that you can pinch at will? I won't argue with you, but you fucking got cocky, lying on my head and pissing on me. You even dared to come to my Wuwei Martial Arts Hall and hurt my fellow brothers. In this situation, even a clay man has 3 points of anger. If I, Yao Zhong, don't kill you today, I will eat shit." With a bang, Yao Zhong jumped out and slapped with his palm. In an instant, countless palm shadows appeared in the sky, densely packed, like 1,000-hand guanyin, and the momentum was amazing. Every single palm contained a terrifying amount of power. With a single slap, even a 1,000-kilogram boulder would be turned to dust. Moreover, countless palm images appeared. Some were real, some were fake, and some were fake. It was impossible to tell which was real and which was fake. Once you scratched your head, you would be hit by the palm force and fall to the ground with serious injuries, vomiting blood and unable to fight again. This was Yao Zhong's secret technique, 1,000 illusion palm. Amazing, this is senior brother Yao Zhong's 1,000 illusion palm. It's too powerful. Senior brother Yao Zhong is invincible in the world with this secret technique. Even a powerhouse in the 8th heaven of martial arts can be matched. It's not a big deal to challenge someone. This is a high-level martial technique. The difficulty of cultivation is simply off the charts. Many people may not be able to master it even if they are 40 or 50 years old, but senior brother Yao Zhong has mastered it. He is simply a genius. With one slap, it turns into 1,000 palms, real and fake. Who can resist it? Moreover, the palm force is continuous and contains the power of extreme yin. It is the most sinister and vicious, and its penetrating power is terrifying. Even a monster with great defense would be injured by one palm strike. That kid is miserable. This time, he angered senior brother Yao Zhong. He will definitely be seriously injured. No way, if we accidentally send this guy to the hospital, won't we have to bear criminal responsibility? Responsible my ass. Yan Huang Star has a strong martial arts atmosphere and prosperous martial arts halls. Challenging the hall is endless. The law has long been written that anyone who dares to challenge the hall will not bear any legal responsibility unless they die. In other words, as long as we don't kill him, then we are innocent. Well, you can say that. Poor guy, today he came in standing, and he will probably go back lying down. This is the result of coming to our Wuwei Martial Arts Hall to cause trouble. We must teach him this lesson. Many disciples of Wuwei Martial Arts Hall talked about it and looked at Xia Ping with a sneer. 1,000 illusion palm. It's a good martial technique, but under my spiritual power, it can't hide at all. Xia Ping's eyes revealed a glimmer of light, and his spiritual power erupted, instantly capturing Yao Zhong's big hand. Found you. He made a move in vain. Crane fist immortal crane searching for shrimp. With a whoosh, one of his hands turned into an immortal crane. Its speed was extremely fast, and the angle was tricky. It passed through countless palm shadows without being blinded by any palm shadows and accurately found Yao Zhong's palm. Boom!